Monday Night Lights, Monday Night Lights, Monday Night Lights. Let's talk about what's been going on at Viking Ice Arena. You've never seen a league so exciting and tough and fast. It simply must be discussed on an equally exciting and tough podcast. What's it called? Monday Night Lights. Yeah. Monday Night Lights. The Tigers, the Nordiques, the Whalers, the Seals, the Americans, the North Stars. Who's gonna stall? Who will go far and earn the keg? Who's gonna earn the keg? We'll find out in time. Give us a holler on the whoop line.
Oh, it's inspired.
And the Monday Night Lights podcast is back. Brian Piercy here with a 2-2, a 2-2, a 2-2. And Charles.
I'm just the 2.
Apparently, Pfister got lost somewhere along the way. He was wearing a number 6 yesterday, I believe, so maybe he got in trouble.
Oh, yeah. You can't change numbers. You got to find that 2-2 jersey.
That sounds like a demotion in my eyes.
It's true.
I mean,
it's true.
Coming from someone who's wearing 12 this year?
I do what I need to do to enable
you're right.
another brother.
That is fair.
I've only kept 122 jersey.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
That was last year.
Oh, yeah.
You get traded a little too much.
Yeah, you get traded.
Get traded twice.
Yeah.
You know, some might say it's a benefit this year, though.
I'd rather be on the Americans. I'm with that attitude, Piercy.
As always, give us a call on the Whoop line, 714-75-WHOOP. Email podcast at mnlhl.com. Follow us on Twitch, YouTube, all that jazz, blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to some news. Got some sad news to start out. Mr. Timmy Kimmel had to leave the league because he accepted a job in Ohio. I think had to do with like Costco rebuilds or something.
It was Walmart, and I thought it was a full-time job as Zeke Elliott or Zeke Rollins. Zeke Elliott's a fucking football player.
But yeah, so Kimmel did have to leave us. It is sad.
You can be bought out in the MNL, apparently. So that's all it takes.
So, I mean, I think we all are going to miss his wit. He's a good player. And then the Tigers, how much do we think that hurt them going into the playoffs?
I think you can exclusively blame their loss on Kimmel, really. I mean, the shootout, he was the ghost shooter, the famous ghost shooter of games past. Bardowski, backhand, saved the game, called back. Oh, I remember it well. My favorite memory.
That goal never made the highlight reel.
Oh, that goal was the highlight reel.
Never
Still
made
my
the highlight
reel. Oh, my favorite goal. Timmy Kimmel. Man, you would have been a legal shooter this time. It would have been great.
He would have been in the box.
We don't know that for sure.
He would have been in the box. Cross-checking for sure.
And then kind of move on. People are a little short on words. Did you guys go to Peaks before this? Have a couple drinks?
Couple?
Yes.
Few. I think we're in the few stage.
They're just nerves.
Yeah, few and
I don't
plus
know
three
to
or
feel my
more.
hands.
I only had a couple.
Yes.
Which is why I'm not talking as much as I usually do.
I had 4, yes.
Because
As you work on sobering up to make sure Drager gets home?
That's true.
yeah, I don't need any incidents.
I'm not talking because I have to bend over to talk constantly.
I just
mean,
found out that Dragon visited Taco Bell last time on the way home.
Yeah.
And never made it
do
home.
that.
And never
We're gonna
made it
be
home
classier.
officially.
This is a classier 2-2 podcast.
I mean, technically, you
learned.
could kick the non-2-2 out if you wanted, outside of me.
Charles has to bend over to talk to the mic now.
Yeah.
That's what he
I mean,
deserves. But you have to look at him.
That's what married life is like, boys. That's what married life is like.
That is
Just bend
true.
over for it.
So we haven't had a podcast and since right before Christmas time. And since then, the playoffs have been here. Unfortunately, the Americans were the team that didn't make it. Second year in a row. Is this starting to be a pattern? Is it dumb luck? What do we think's going on here?
Oof. I would say that since they won the keg one year, it's been just rough seasons. If they were like consistently never winning, it'd be tricky. But they got one year, so I'd just say little down seasons.
So we have an American in the room. What is his thoughts there?
I think that it has a lot to do with just we we made the moves that they worked. I mean, we were losing before the moves were made. We were losing games by like 4 goals, 3 goals.
Yeah, the trade went through. Trade
Trade
worked.
went through. Then we were losing games by 1 goal every time, and that's it's not good enough, obviously. But we just couldn't find the firepower we needed to finish a few of those games, and that would have put us in the playoffs. It was a 2-game swing. That's not a whole lot.
No,
You need to
it's
really
not.
think
You were
about it.
closer. You were definitely a contender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Judge, as the former American,
Yep.
what do you think the problems was with the team before you got moved?
I won't say there was problems. There was, we were trying to settle on a lineup, couldn't figure anything out at first. Started to figure some things out here and there. From there, I was blaming on the curse of Dave P. Sometimes he was there, sometimes he wasn't. But, we started out a little flustered in the beginning of the season. We had some turmoil inside the locker room early on this season. And that actually, simmered down, and we actually started playing well after that. But just like Charles said, we could never put anything together truly. Go on a streak. We would win 1 game, and then, we'd lose 2, and we wouldn't lose them by 1 or 2 goals. We'd lose them by a few. So
Go deep on that turmoil. I'd like to hear a little bit more.
Was that the Guma Dave P stuff?
never heard of it. Might have been, but no, it was. I mean, it got squashed quickly, and everyone came to play every single week, and just never clicked.
I will say there's good and bad about that as turmoil, because it shows that your guys care. They're mad about it. They're not happy about losing. They got that fire there. So it can turn into a positive. It can be a negative. Charles, how did you see it?
I just all I wanted to say was I'm surprised that the Dave P curse existed after he went absent for like the last 2 months.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
I'm
That was a
pretty
good
sure
point.
if you leave, the curse goes with it.
This is a
Yeah.
damned if you do, damned if you don't. Oh, you didn't show up and we lost. Oh, go fuck yourself. Oh, hey, you were here and we
You
lost.
left the
Go
curse.
He gave both options. In the end, L still
It's
came.
true.
So
True.
But in the end, yeah, the turmoil was literally 1 game,
Yeah.
a couple of comments on the ice between periods, and then a few chirps back and forth in the locker room. After that, everybody was fine. It just needed to let off some steam. No big deal. I don't think that had anything to do with anything.
No, it's frustrations.
yeah. And I think it's worth calling out. Like the way that they played post trade was very, very
Way
clear.
better. Way
It was
better.
you can
Both teams
argue.
improved.
Yeah, I think both teams improved. You can argue about who wins or loses trades, but when you get the right shakeup and it works, and you get the right people in the room, and the right Dave P's not showing up, you just have the right moxie coming out of it. Which
We
I
were
think
talking
was
about
helpful.
that earlier. Yep.
Yeah.
And how it worked out in the end for both, and they were right there.
I think that's the first time it's worked out in the end for both.
And I
As far
think,
as trades go for 3-4 years.
I think when
like
we
it's
did
a
the
win-win.
podcast
It's
after
usually
that,
a blatant loser and like a big winner.
the podcast after that trade, I remember, I think it was maybe Troy here, and it was kind of like, well, hopefully both teams will win. And that's like, and I think someone said to me, like, that's a cop-out answer or BS. It's like, well, I hope we are better. At the end of the day, I think the Maroons were better. They were better. Like, you could say one team wins the trade or not, but if both teams actually got better, I think at that point you can say it's a win-win.
Probably the most successful trade in MNL, I would say.
I mean,
If it was a win-win.
still to be seen for how it's going
Fair
to
enough.
pan. Season's not over
Fair
yet.
enough.
But
Fair enough.
it's the same thing where we had the Deeks North Star season 3, where a lot of people's like, I can't believe the North Stars did that trade. It made you so good. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, we won.
Yeah.
And who did we have to beat to get there? And they gave us a hard time.
Yep.
It was the
it's
North
true.
Stars. It
Yeah,
made them a
it's
better
true.
team too.
It's true.
Teams can be or trades can be mutually beneficial.
It's true.
Now, one thing I was looking at for them is they did have the 7th pick in the draft. Now, is that something that hurt them? Was it just some bad putting a team together? I know it was Crunk's first year. I think me and Doug did learn some stuff from year one to year 2. But Antioch has been a GM, multiple years. Could it have been that trade for the goalie? I know we saw some goalies go in the last round kind of at the end, and it didn't seem to hurt those teams as well. Was it just, I think we saw in the past, I think one year the Whalers took a goalie in like the 4th or 5th round, and now people are falling. You get that early trigger, and maybe it just hurts you too much.
I will say this. I wanted to be everything for Crunk, taking me in the 2nd round, the first pick. Obviously didn't pan out that way. But, I'm not saying there's a lot of pressure, but, when you turn around, you're almost in the first round. There's a lot to live up to, and when you don't live up to that, then sometimes you see the ship sailing away.
Yeah, and that last pick, like season 1, not withholding just because of the fact that that was only 4 teams, but like that 6 and 7 pick in the past 5 years has been, I want to say, the Nordiques, the Whalers again, and then I think it may have been the Nordiques again. These are a handful of teams that struggled throughout these years.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's been the Americans' most recent time. I forgot who had it last year. So it's not an easy play to do regardless.
Hasn't the Whalers
it's a
ones,
tough
though,
space
been
to
like,
be in.
they had
that was a
Trent as
Serta.
GM,
Yeah.
so I think that's slightly different.
Correct. But I'm just saying in those picks in general, it still kind of gets you to a weird part of the draft. And some people don't necessarily can succeed in that spot. It's not an easy. When we had the pick, I wasn't ecstatic about it. It's always tough.
You almost had to pick someone. You have to go for how you want to line up almost, because you want defender or do you want offense?
Yeah, you
So
have
you
to
gotta
build your
decide.
lineup, and you have to know what's going to be available there during the 3rd and 4th round for you to say, like, cool, I'm going to pick these 2 players, and I'm going to hope that I have the right defenseman that shows up now, or I'm going to have the right, secondary scorer that's going to show up at this time, my perfect center, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna botch spring without Kayla. I got no one. I'm just gonna pick random people.
I mean,
Just
all
a
you gotta do
lottery
is
and a
draft
hat.
him.
Just gonna
You can draft him.
yeah, we're gonna draft him random.
Yeah, I think coming from year 1 to year 2 for
Let's
us,
see where it comes up.
we took Star as a defenseman in year 2, and we kind of thought we didn't have enough scoring punch, so we were kind of like, we got to go forward. And that's when we took edge. Everybody was like, oh, you're going defense again. And we're like, no, we're going to play him at forward. I think that was kind of a lesson learned from us. It's really hard to take a defenseman in that second round.
That's the big thing in retrospect, taking a look at the draft.
You need that hybrid really in the
Well,
second round.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say is that, like, last year, all the rage was the, fuck defense. All my homies hate defense. I'm going to take them all in the late
Corners
rounds.
got defense. Goalies got defense.
Yeah, well, I mean,
all
we
right.
called it or Troy called it the boring Whalers defense. And the boring Whalers defense last year
It
was
a
great.
lockdown. Yeah.
And like there's some benefits to that, but some of the teams that are going pretty far, you look at the Whalers, you look at the North Stars, you look at the Seals, they all have defensemen that they took in the second to third round. That's working out for them so far.
Yeah, and then even though that Judge was a second round pick on our team, we traded him with essentially Turtle, so he kind of slots that third rounder. And Judge, since he's moved to defense for us, he played for the first game. He's been so offensive and had been responsible for so many goals. It kind of fits the purpose
I
of
can't
that
score.
forward.
Can't score.
Join the club.
Don't
Set
check
'em up.
me. Don't check me. Don't
Easy, you
hurt
got a
me.
hat trick with us for the Deeks, so you subbed with us, so you got a hat trick. So.
Can't score and don't
I
score
know.
are 2 different things, Jeremy.
Can't score, don't
Hat
score. Responsible for scoring, though, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's been a great addition to the team
Hey,
so
the
far.
only thing I'm proud about is Piercy's playing the best he's ever played in his life. So
It's true.
That's because I can just look over and be like, is Judge open? I can pass it over to him and he'll pass it to someone else and I'll get an
He's racking
assist.
up his assist.
Too good for his own good. Moving up.
It's one of those, I think it was the year you guys won the cup. Drager had so many assists by just throwing it up the middle to Proctor.
It was my secret sauce, like I told him earlier. I can't do that this year. I don't know what happened.
Give it to Lapudre. He had to do it. He had to take over.
So then with the playoffs as well, as you're catching up, I'm sure so many people are not aware of MNL that are listening to this, but the North Stars and the Maroons both got the bye going into the playoffs. The Maroons kind of backdoored their way in with losing the final game of the year, but then having the Nordiques heroically save the bye for us. So much appreciated.
You're welcome.
No.
And
Mackey.
MVP candidate
From
over here,
downtown.
Charles Mackey, downtown.
Mackey.
From downtown.
Unfortunately, it doesn't count on the stat sheet because you were a sub that night, but it counts in my heart.
There's substats. Dougie has substats.
Intangibles are a real thing.
That's true.
And I think the voters will recognize that when they go to the polls.
That's true.
That's a great point. And, Charles technically is my captain for bowling, so I got to respect
captain,
that
my
as well.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
He hasn't been leading us to the greatest season this year, though, unlike last year.
I heard that Jimmy Ellis and Charles had great games last week.
I was
And that-
below average last
Yeah,
week.
that's what I heard.
Would you bowl 100?
Oh, no, I was probably like a 140-ish.
Mackey needs 200 feet to really shine. So unless the alley is a little longer, he ain't gonna hit those pins.
Yeah, we've seen the divots in the ice after last week's celebration.
Yeah. Well, it'll be weeks years before the NHL ice recovers from what I did last week.
Oh,
But no,
Not the
I bowled a
bomb.
175
Attaboy.
last week.
Attaboy.
That is rare for me.
yeah.
So I was pretty excited.
For the record, who has the highest average on our team though?
You by a long shot. I think he's
Look
got
at me like
He
I
did
think he's
that
got
on
me-
purpose.
he's got me by like 25 pins.
I mean, apparently Mackie told the story about me missing my average last week. So
Well, the thing is, it's we all handicapped to 200 pins, and we just expect a lot out of Piercy, being a high average. I throw the ball straight down the lane. Why are we talking about? Why are we not talking about bowling?
And that's the point of bowling.
Yeah.
I'm not, but usually people put a little, spin on it so you can hit the pocket more effectively.
The Nordiques have a bowling league
That ain't
now.
me.
We're out of the playoffs. So
Straight
we're
down.
starting bowling.
Straight down the ice, 180 feet.
180 feet.
Yeah.
That's what you need. Can't beat it. Can't
so the playoffs did start on Monday, so I think we should start getting to the games.
They ended on Monday too for some of us.
We'll get to that. So the first game of the night was the Nordiques 1, the Seals 4. I'll just do a couple observations and then I'll give it over to one of the guys who
Okay.
played in
I
this
don't
game.
need- I don't need, I got whiskey for upset.
But the Seals, obviously, they got up early. The Nordiques, from what we saw, they haven't been the highest powered scoring team, but they've had great defense all year. You guys tied it up, and then the Seals got the lead back. And from there, it looked like the Nordiques were worried. Looked like there was that nervous energy of, oh, crap, are we going to get upset by this team? They put in another one, and from there, it felt like from our side it was over. There was a nice little skirmish from Cone. Looked like he was trying to beat up a player. Thought you guys waited a little too long, possibly. Wait, nope. Might have been the other game pulling the goal. You guys pulled fairly early. I think
Wait,
it was
which
the
one?
other way around that didn't do it. But Proctor seems pretty hurt. So we'll go to Drager for his perspective first.
Just shocked.
I'm hurt on the
Them,
inside.
yeah,
I just
I'm
don't
still
show
shocked.
it.
Yeah, these two twos are hurt.
I think one of the most quintessential things for us, as you kind of said, we've never been a high scoring team throughout the regular season.
No, but good defensively.
Good
That's solid.
defensively, and hung a little bit too much on the back of Cone to the point where he had to take a little time off
Yeah, he
to
did.
heal up that back, the Zetterberg injury. But by my account, I think the play where it was the second goal of the game, and I think it might have been Shawnee, where Shawnee's
The
coming in
5-0 one.
hard on the left side.
just to flung
it
it. He
hits-
just flung it.
He flung it, and it hits Cone's stick
And
left
bobbled
pad,
through.
and then right pad, and went in.
yeah,
Like it went
shot
in.
that shouldn't have went in.
I think that's the quintessential type of thing for our season. Where
Yeah.
it's just like hey, we
Bad bounce.
have the ability to try and do something, but sometimes we just let up the opportunities and we don't have the shooting power to be able to get back into it. We can't have Mackey scoring from 200 feet out every single night.
Shame.
It becomes a little bit of a challenge for us. And the Seals, I think what you said of it being an upset, we didn't view it that way. We view it, our
No,
big thing
it was pretty even.
beforehand was,
Cone locked it down after that.
well, I mean, I was
Like,
just going to say in general,
Period
like,
and a half.
we came out of the gate
Yeah.
with the idea of like, there's no person who's the lead in this. This is an even game.
Mhm.
You can't undersell a team with that talent. We beat them 3 times in the regular season, but that wasn't the conversation in the locker room or Slack or anything beforehand. We knew that we had to come out and try to beat them on even ice, and we weren't able to.
Yeah, and for the record, I've said all along, I think any team in the playoffs could beat any team. So, but I guess just for the way that the Seals were essentially their record the last, month and a half or so, and just them finishing, that's why I think it would have to be considered an upset. And I know we were me and Doug, we were talking, it's like, man, if we end up getting that 3rd seed and the Seals are there, we've done the same thing, beat them 3 times. It's hard to beat a team a 4th time in a row. It was a situation we were not looking forward to going into. And I think for your the goal you guys scored, didn't it go off Pete as well?
Yeah.
Pete, I think actually said something to Riley like, "You're welcome for scoring that goal on you," type of thing.
Yeah.
So I think it was
It was crossbar. Pete,
Pete
or
and-
whoop. It was they were
No,
rushing
it was,
back.
it was Pete. I
Was it
think.
Pete?
Yeah.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it. Appreciate the help.
So then from
We needed
Proctor's
it.
perspective, kind of some rundowns of the
We got
game.
our asses kicked. Ready,
Yeah.
some of us more than others.
Literally
but,
or figuratively?
we did.
We'll get to that part in a second.
No, it was a good game. Playoffs are always chippy and hard fought, and yeah, they cracked the defense, and we had a little puck luck on the first goal, and the Shawnee one was a little tricky, and couldn't get her done. We had I think we had 6 scrambles with Riley covering their asses.
Mm-hmm.
Riley should be, thanking them for subbing in for them. Not your real goalie, just saying. But whatever. Here we are. And Riley played great for them. And so, covered their asses. We had a few scrambles on the backhand, close backdoor plays. And it was a good game.
One goal doesn't cut it in the MNL playoffs.
It doesn't.
Except
It
for
really doesn't. Yeah.
1 or 2 times, maybe.
No
actually
breakaways. I don't think there were no breakaways. There were
No.
nothing crazy. It was just back and forth.
Dirty goals. They're
Yeah.
all dirty goals.
Yep.
I mean, in the end.
Now, I
And what was our third?
noticed.
The third was a tip, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, there was nothing clean.
Yeah.
I think it might have been. I think Shawnee might have banged it.
Deflection or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But yeah, so.
So I
Yeah.
did notice at the end of the year you're going with the Proctor J Flow lineup, and in this game you weren't. I guess part of that obviously is trying to find some lineups going into the playoffs to maybe get some extra goals. As we talked about, we knew you were a low scoring team, but what made you kind of revert out of that going into tonight's game or yesterday's game?
This is big. It's bringing out the controversy. Who we
well,
lost.
Well, we're not
It's
going to
bringing out who we lost.
We're not going to go into that, but based off of the sub situation that we kind of ended up with, I think the goal is to try and make sure that you have a competent, strong center every single time that you can kind of ice a team for both lines.
We had to
And
change up our whole team.
when we ended up calling in Antioch to help us finish out the season,
Thank you.
we
Paulie.
kind of opted for the idea of like put him at wing. That's where he's strongest, in my opinion. We've played with him plenty on the K-Felks for the last year or so, where he's been subbing in a little bit of wing, a little bit of center, and I think all of us know that Antioch coming down that left side on the wing, one defenseman between him and the goalie, he's not afraid to clap it and
Hot
go right
cannon.
past
cannon.
both of them. So like, I think that was our thought process: get him with somebody who can move the puck and help them get down ice, and then do what makes sense. So it was a little bit of like, hey, we had a personnel shift with the change in subs, so we try to take advantage of that more so than anything. Everyone loves a Paulie Proctor on the wing, but you can't always get away with that.
Proctor,
true.
you sound a little bit bitter over that coaching decision.
I mean, if you're gonna leave at the last possible moment, he chose a good time.
Well, whole nother story.
I love
So then
you,
there was
buddy.
also
I
some
love you, buddy, and I love playing with you, but
there was some
All right.
some controversy in that game as well. Judge,
Oh no, I was gonna say. I will say this. It looked like the Seals wanted to win more than the Deeks.
they had a hustle.
They
had to hustle.
they
had to
out
jump.
hustled you. That's how they
They
scored
did.
their goals. They were gritty.
Whoop had
They
the
were
whip, man.
chippy.
The whoop whip. is
None of them
big.
were sexy. I mean, your
they
shot
did.
was sexy, and then Pete kicked it in for you. So he was
Yeah.
trying to make it a game, maybe.
Yeah, he was
but,
helping.
You know,
But you're
that-
right. No, you're right. They had all the hustle. They
Yeah.
really did. They had the juice.
so going over to the chat real quick before we move on. Troy's looking at, I guess Antioch, you kind of brought him in as a permanent sub, trying to make sure you're getting that chemistry together. But was there any thought of maybe looking at more of a week by week type of thing, bringing in a Trent for certain games or whatnot? He's asking specifically about Trent as a sub. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do that full time. Where I know for the Maroons last year, we were essentially told, Edge, we're going to bring you in full time. So I fully understand you want that, team unity, get stuff going together as well.
We called Matt Taylor 4 times.
Yeah,
He never
answered our
returned.
calls.
Never returned our calls. It was awful.
No, it was something that we definitely considered. I think the big thing for us is consistency. We had, like you kind of mentioned, a little bit of line juggling that kind of messed with stuff, and we were able to bring in Antioch out of the gate and have him start playing with us, and then hopefully try to build some chemistry around that. We could have tried to call Trent, but it's hard to have Trent to play against his own team. So we wanted to try and get that chemistry built up early because, like we said earlier, we want to try and get the lineup that would work for us and try to tinker with it a little bit.
We ran straight lines the whole season. We figured out our chemistry and locked it down, and then
then shit
the
changed.
last game was just like, "Fuck your couch," and then here we are.
You guys tried. You guys did go for it.
I know we tried, man. We tried.
Was there any
Not to say that's the
consideration-
reasoning, but you never know. I don't know.
So someone like a Turtle, who's more of a true center, instead of an Antioch, they're, I think, back to back on that. Any consideration on that to kind of hold your strong center concept together, and then as well?
Yeah, there was a heavy conversation about that, and we did debate between a more, I guess, standard center in terms of skill to try and talk about what we were talking about earlier. But what was the biggest issue for the Deeks all season? Scoring.
Turtle put
Who
up a
has-
good amount of goals after he
I-
got traded and played forward. though.
I understand, but we wanted to try and bring the shot to the other team. That's one of the things that we didn't
Sure.
have was a hard shot. And so we want to try and bring that to the team to be that form of offense.
Turtle
And-
wouldn't wear the mismatched socks either that I gave him.
Yeah. So
pretty.
We talked
Pretty bad.
we talked about
wouldn't
both
wear
of them
those.
quite a bit, and then it just happened to be, I think Antioch was just like, "Hey, baby, if you need
got
somebody
that high
for the
cannon.
rest of the way,
Yeah.
I'm in." And I was like, "There's nothing I love more than somebody who says that they're all in for your team, they want to win it." And I think in the end, I don't think any of the three players that we've discussed already who could have fit in that spot. Like we said
No, it
earlier,
was
we
good.
came
It
out
was a good
flat, and
choice.
they came in with the attitude, and we weren't able to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough. And then there was so I didn't get to pay attention to Slack a whole lot today, but every time I looked, it was like Ivory Tower, 35 new messages, can't read through them all. General, 50 new messages. I think it started with Busta in the Ivory Tower talking about Dale,
Chippendales.
Ooh,
Jason
I like
Dale.
that.
So I know
Good for
from
the
my
ladies.
perspective, there was
Good for the
talks
wives.
about 3 different incidents. There was
Yeah.
a first incident with Proctor where he fell down. I remember seeing it. I didn't think
I
it was a
fell
big
down
deal.
one.
There was
Proctor fell down.
And I felt
There
bad.
was one
It's
with
kind of funny.
there was one with Busta that I think
Yeah.
it happened because he's not the strongest skater. I actually was like, oh crap, is he okay? But I didn't think it was dirty because he was kind of gliding towards the board, so I was worried. And then there was the last one where, in my vision, Dale definitely lowered his shoulder to take out Proctor. So Proctor, why don't you guide us through the first hit and then the second one?
Whatever you remember. At
I
least.
don't remember much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on mild concussion protocol, so it was all right. No, it was a good hit, man. He's a strong player. I don't mind his play. I've been there before with kind of how he plays, and I don't know, 50-50, blame me, blame him, whatever. Yeah, he's just a body player, and yeah, maybe he stepped a half step too much and just threw me off balance and really dropped me like a sack of bricks. Yeah, and I ate a big dinner and I started puking up the second and third period. But yeah, it was a good one. He
Tell the
got- he
fans at
got-
home what you had for dinner.
It was a Baja shrimp. It was coming up. Salsa and shrimp.
Sounds
So,
lovely.
Yeah, it was. It hurt. It hurt.
It was a very fun second intermission where you said, "Where are you going? Gonna go throw up.
Yeah.
Cajun shrimp is coming up."
Yeah. It was. He just. Yeah. I was cutting through, and he decided to step in and caught me. So, it's all right. It's playoff hockey. It's gonna be a little bit. He got the 2 minutes for it. We couldn't capitalize. I don't know. Do we even get a shot? We got 2 shots.
Oh,
that
that was a
power
great
play.
PK by them.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
no.
didn't-
They spent more time in our zone.
Proctor,
it would've been
Proctor
worth
never
it if I
stepped
took
out
the
on the
hit.
PK or
Yeah.
on the PP. He never stepped out.
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of.
He was ailing. I know.
Yeah,
Kind of
I know.
loose.
Yeah.
I know.
We got a good line, Z, and our line can get stuff done, but yeah, we didn't get anything done. It sucked. So
So
No.
I think the big thing from my point of view is you could definitely see put his shoulder down to kind of rear and like cock it up and kind of throw it at him. So I think that's the big problem with that. Judge, I know you played hockey for a decent amount of time. How did
Never
you see
played.
that? Oh, it appears you did. You got
Yeah,
it's
you
your
got your
girlfriend. It's your girlfriend.
yeah, you got your
sticker on that
collarbone
one.
broken. You've played.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're collarbone brothers,
Yep.
baby.
No, I will say this. What I took out of that is Proctor's coming down. Dale extended his arms out, made a blatant contact. It was, borderline, I won't say dirty play, but dirty play. And for us to play in the league on Monday, playoff hockey, I get everyone's competitive. They want to win, but no one's trying to get hurt. No one's trying to get injured. And, we kind of talked about this earlier is there was calls earlier in the game that, could have been called. They're way weaker, whether it was tripping and then there's a change of possession going the other way. But if you start calling those, it was almost like, someone was tempting the line or walking the line of what can I get away with kind of thing. And,
That's playoffs.
yeah,
That's just
no,
how it is.
and you're
Yeah,
right, Paul.
you push it a little bit.
But and the first one,
Yeah, the first one was all right.
the first one, I'll give it to you, whatever, intensity, playoff. Second one, they're winning 3-1. There's less than a minute left or a minute left, whatever. And I heard you hit the ice, thud. And that's a vicious hit no matter what level you play in, to hear a body hit the ice and make a thud noise. And, you getting up and not swinging at them, all more power to you because
That's that
that-
Baja shrimp, man.
Well, yeah.
Bogged me down.
and I get at that point that was number 2 too. So you were hurting, but I would have came up fisticuff swinging. But whether it was my stick gloves, I don't know. Maybe punch someone in the dick. I hear is a good move. But
we gave Judge a little bit of a history lesson earlier about
cracking dick punch.
licking some ass and punching some dicks.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's then you're going too far, and people say not sticking up for people, but no one you don't want people coming in swinging fists and knocking people out for no reason or doing something stupid. Yeah, you want to come in, maybe a scuffle, but I don't know. I guess like we talked about it. Paulie has a bigger heart than me.
We're all right. We'll be all right.
We had a whole.
We didn't lose by 1 goal. We lost by 2. So
Correct.
That was the worst part. That was the worst part. The hit didn't need to happen. That hit didn't need to happen.
I know.
That hit did not need to happen. The second one.
But the big thing is, like, we had this whole controversy. If you go back probably 3 podcasts ago or something, because we only have them every 6 months now. But we have
every time Paulie gets hurt.
Every time Paulie gets hurt. No. We had that conversation of like where does fighting live in MNL, and the answer was like it doesn't.
I don't know. So Ben had a good time. He was smiling when he was swinging.
Well, that was against House years ago.
Ben. Yeah, love you, Ben.
Yeah, but like it's not something we aspire for. So I don't want to get to the point where players have to self-police. That's not my thought process. Especially.
Or firefight.
Yeah.
No.
I think the thing that hurt the most about this whole incident was the fact that Pistol Pete wrote that fucking novel in Slack today that didn't make any goddamn sense. Did his best Six impression to write a bunch of nonsense that no one wants to read. Pistol, if you're listening, I'm sick of your shit. Enough is enough.
For the record, I didn't read it, so I don't know what you're talking about. Like I said, I saw message after message.
No, but to that point, people were complaining about the rule and how all of a sudden it's a rule. Now, it was always a rule, right? There was always stuff in place for this. I played in the league for 3 years. I mean, I know it hasn't been that long.
You only get 3 years.
It's never reared its head before this.
Come for you.
It's the 2 of the worst hits I've seen. In most beer leagues too. I mean, I've seen some dirty stuff, but like, it wasn't dirty, so I'll take that back.
You should have seen Trent year 1.
Blatant. I would say blatant attempt to take the body out. And it was a good hit. I mean,
Ragnar had some good shit too. Yeah. No, that was a good one. But no, it's water on the bridge, man. They played 1 or 2 hits weren't going to change the course of that game, and
I mean, when you don't play for 12 minutes, I mean, it might change the course of the game. But.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I think like it was stated by Judge, the rules aren't changing. We've always said the USA hockey rules, for the most part, non-checking. So those rules are always in place. I think the tough part is I wasn't even actually thinking about it. It's like, should anything be done? Blah, blah, blah. If it was a bad hit, I don't think it's something that should be suspended for. I have paid attention to what was going on in the Ivory Tower today just because of time based on work as well. So it was hard for me to follow, but there was lots of messages going back and forth. It had to be about something because if not, you're not sending that many messages across.
First one, no. Second one was suspendable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the first one wasn't even penalizable. I feel the second one worthy of a penalty, and I think it's at least worthy of the conversation. But and for the people who are like, why are we even talking about this type of thing? Give me an MNL season that hasn't ended with a player getting injured and knocking out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
we have the Belasias, the Proctors, the Sammy Mackey, the Proctors, the Geos, like all these players.
The Maps, the Rallans.
I mean.
Yeah.
Those were, I think those were other games. We've had plenty of times where like a player's been knocked out for the rest of the season. We have a lot of them happening towards Wells earlier this season. But like at no point are we interested in people leaving injured as much as we can possibly can. If we think there's anything close to it, it's something we got to nip in the bud.
It's tough too because it felt like with the Dale hit there, I felt like you could see him like with his shoulder, so you could see that intent. There's other times where guys with lesser skill, it's not an excuse or whatever, like could run into people, knock stuff over, things of that realm. It's hard. At the same time, it's the same potential for injury as well. But it's always hard with that hit that you saw because you could see that shoulder kind of move forward there.
I mean, a first rounder shouldn't skate with his head down anyway, so.
Wow.
I'm trying to get drafted second round like Pete. I'm trying to go 2 round.
I thought you're missing the games next year, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna miss every other game.
slack dissertation.
Yeah, every other game I'm gonna miss.
I think
Out for playoffs.
to Piercy's point, the lower skill players still need to, know what they're doing with their body. They can't act recklessly, but
Hack properly.
But I don't, and I hear you that someone like me just being shitty might cause more harm just because I was shitty, but it doesn't necessarily mean make it intentional, which I think is the key here.
We're talking about with no offense to the guy. We're talking about Dale with Proctor, two people who played at that same type of level. If it was like me or you, and we did it like that's what I'm trying to. Yeah. I'm trying to.
But I've also talked about it in the past on the podcast. I feel like there's been a few times like Hal uses his crappiness to be like, I'm going to have you back into me and kind of lay you out from behind, but I'm going to act like it was on accident. I think he's smart enough to do stuff like that. I do think
pumping that conspiracy theory for months now.
I fully think Hal's that smart no matter what his wife says.
Do we want to start a new list of the dirtiest players in MNL, top to bottom?
Pellets up
Is
there.
that from the start?
Oh,
I think Trent might have the.
Trent's a sneaky.
Trent's just got the
Trent's
legacy.
a sneaky boy.
He's cleaned up now.
Yeah.
Being top scorer in the league and all, or for a little bit.
He's number 2.
Yeah, Pellet had the 2-for-1 special. He broke 2 bones with 1 play on Sammy Mackey. So we gotta be proud of him. He does take a tough spot.
I
here.
feel like Pellet. I feel that way from having Proctor on the team last year. He kept diving at Proctor's knees, and Proctor would get off the ice, and you'd see him all like, "Oh, it hurts so much," type of thing. But I do think something. I think it was Charles mentioned. There is, and this play today or yesterday, I don't think was part of it. But there is some responsibilities from forwards to keep your head up, not put your head down and try to go through people. There are some people, Chad's not going to like me. He's one of them who puts his head down and tries to go around people at times. And when you do that, you have some responsibility if you make a collision with someone else. I think the point with Dale, like I said, you saw that shoulder, but if it's a collision where I don't see any person kind of give like a laying out motion, it's on both people in those cases.
I feel all the discussions that are around like, hey, somebody keeps their head down. Hey, what's the definition of a legal check? Ignores the fact that like there was some full-on extension that I wasn't really happy about.
Hey, let's
like I
let's
said,
not
I
ignore
agreed
the
with it.
attempt later in the next game by one Dylan Lumberjack Lesnar.
Yeah, who did he
Oh,
fucking
we'll
get
get
on
there.
that one?
I think it was Fem. And he extended a little bit, and he got called for it. It wasn't as dirty. He didn't connect as
I
well.
stopped keeping my head up and like ban them. So
When he's played beer league, you shouldn't have to keep your head up. I thought that was the name of the game.
That's why I paid for it. I can
Exactly.
keep my head down now.
Yeah, pay a premium for that.
I pay for these skates.
Yeah,
No one else is
exactly.
looking at them.
I'm
I
gonna
might
look
as
at
well.
them. Yeah, I'm gonna look at them.
I think this is a pretty good cue trying to talk about Dylan to jump to the next game.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Get rid of our heartbreak.
For once, Piercy's not
What
trying
else
to
was
move
on
the
the agenda,
podcast
Piercy?
forward.
Was
It's
there-
us.
Was there anything else on the agenda for that game or no?
I think Whoop paid
No,
off
I
Dale.
think
Whoop
with,
paid off Dale to do it. So,
I think with Slack being up in arms about it, we had to talk about that incident some. So, second game of the night was a very entertaining game with the Whalers winning 4-3 in a shootout.
that's sexy. That's fun, man. That's good playoff hockey right there. Shootout hockey.
Who wants to give a breakdown of the game? Anybody feel comfortable?
I'll go. So yeah, Proctor left. I think Dragger was still there. Piercy was gone, but it was.
I was there.
I was there, but I was very drunk.
All right.
They're physically, not mentally.
Charles might remember a few things here and there.
I don't remember a fucking thing from the second game.
It was a good back and forth game. Whalers scored first. They came back and Tigers came back and tied it. Tigers had multiple chances to take the lead. Jeff Skillman, tall drink of water, missed a couple empty nets, 2 in a row within a couple minute time span, I believe. Set up beautifully. One of them by Ben. I forget who the other one was. And then Whalers came down, back and forth. Dylan took that bad penalty late in the game. They scored to tie it up, 3-3 late. And the Tigers were up 2-0 in the shootout with the Whalers still only having 2 shooters. Trent did what he needed to do. And then Skillman sent MVP out there. Chad. And Chad looked at Skillman like he had 3 heads, said, "Why am I going out here? This is your team." Skillman must have he shriveled under pressure, didn't do it. I don't know. And Chad, Cam made a nice save on Chad. Turtle comes down, puts it in. Then it went back and forth for 5, 6, 7 rounds in the shootout. And finally, Dylan took the puck, skated methodically to the blue line. Didn't do anything of much. Then started just chopping wood,
Sneaky
lumberjacking. Started chopping down Hazel Park oak tree or Hazel Park nut tree. He was just sitting there chopping, and I love Spicy, but he hung Spicy out to dry in that one. And it was a celebration for the century. Not many people were there. As soon as he scored, I walked out because it was one of those things where, I love Dylan.
Good walkout moment.
Yeah, Dylan gets a spotlight with his team, but we'll see him next week. So I knew who I played, and that's kind of where I was focused.
I could not believe how much composure Dylan kept after that goal, knowing Dylan.
Yeah, I know.
Sounds like he knew he was going to do it.
I agree.
I mean, we know what happened earlier in the season when Hedis stopped Dylan in the shootout, and Hedis skated all the way out to the wall. He went all the way out to the wall and started hugging on Dylan. Be like, oh, sorry, I didn't know who you were. I forgot. I was just so excited. Like, this is pretty damn good retribution. You love to see it.
Tigers put up 3-4 goals. Who's putting these up? Who put the goals in for the Tigers? That's a high scoring game.
I forget who
Skilly tied it.
Skillman, and then it
Fam,
was Ryan
and then
Allen.
Ryan had the top titties.
Allen had the tip.
Ryan
Yeah,
Allen
the
with a
Bardowski.
beautiful tip that felt like he was
Yes.
just like he was facing the wrong direction and just put his stick out wide, and it was enough to
He doesn't
fucking
need
turn
to.
90
Got that
degrees
sixth
right into
sense,
the
man.
net.
You know what's going on.
Trent
When you're an
Sexy.
offensive dynamo.
That's
Trent
sexy.
had a good goal to go up 3-2. He split two defenders,
Nice.
drew the penalty, and still got it in between the
And
wickets.
went like it had enough power,
Yep.
went right through him.
Yeah. Had
Nice. That
his
sounds like a good
first
game.
two goals he never saw, and I would say that was kind of the difference early. Is those two goals he never saw them. You can tell by his body language he wants those back.
Very upset.
Yes, and especially on the Woodsy one.
Each time the Tigers came back to tie it up, you could see Hedis fire himself
Oh,
back
yeah,
up.
no,
Something would happen.
Yeah, when the Tigers got scored on, he was really animated, really frustrated. When the Tigers scored, he was out at fucking blue line, slamming his stick. He was excited for the boys.
Let's be honest, the Tigers wouldn't be where they're at without Hedis right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he had stellar games, and
Top goalies.
Mm-hmm.
Top goalies right now.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he's got the Jennings trophy. Ask him; he'll let you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's let us know multiple times.
I don't
He
know what
texts me
that is.
daily,
Just
Every
best
morning.
GAA.
every morning.
It's a trophy that Dickie doesn't
That
give
no
out,
one
so it
knows
don't
about.
count.
Yeah, that no one should care about.
They're just goalies.
Yeah, they're not people.
Yeah,
They're
they just stop
They're meant
pucks.
to stop pucks.
Put him back in the cage where
Yeah.
he belong.
But stay in that blue paint. Just stay
That's why Charles broke out and retired again.
there. Exactly. Yeah.
You can put a traffic barrel in the net, and that would get probably as low of a GAA as I have.
It almost worked against Charles season 1 for the third round games. We tried to put the traffic barrel in there, and Rick wasn't having it.
Won't get you in the lounge though. You're in the lounge.
Yeah. Also in that shootout, I think when Skillman went, I don't know if it hit a bump or something, but he kind of
He was trying the old one-hander flick through the 5-hole. He's getting fancy instead of just shooting
the
it.
one-hander.
Yeah, he
That's
was.
fancy. That's never been done.
I'll let Dragger have his moment
That's
because
never been done.
The Fem one?
Yeah.
You want me to do this on air?
yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
Oh my God, that Fem one last night was absolutely beautiful. And I was way too far for me to be able to get a little too in close on the ice, start breathing heavily, watching as it happened against the glass. But it was a great play. And I remember Cam coming out afterwards, and he was all pumped. And he was like, I broke my stick, and he's all angry about it. And I was like, dude, that was a great fucking goal by Fem. Like, you can't be upset about that. And he
Yeah.
just snapped back at me. He did not want to hear it. He's like, I'm still in the playoffs. I'm like, bitch, I don't care. I understand that. That was still a
Yeah.
good goal.
Yeah.
Respect when you see it.
Got to.
yeah, that shootout had a couple of nice goals. The turtle one was clutch as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Turtle got one, eh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, he was the
Stone
the
just
big one, number 3 to
Nerve
be
to
able to
steal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Trent. Trent went
Using
down,
that
but nothing
shell, man.
happened.
Turtles in the shell.
Yeah.
on
Oh, yeah.
elimination. They were able to do it.
Yep.
I want to talk about the Ryan Allen, aka Brad Marchand, opportunity where he skimmed right over the top and kicked it forward, and Robin Kev let him go back around and get it. Technically, by the rules, that is a failed attempt, and you are not allowed to go backwards to go pick that
on
up.
the shootout. Yeah.
Tricky.
There could have been some controversy,
Ryan-
such as the
Tricky.
Kimmel last year.
Exactly.
the mystery shooter.
Ryan
the
the
ghost
Rat
shooter.
Allen should not have had that
The
opportunity.
famous ghost shooter.
The very likable Ryan Allen.
I haven't
Yeah.
been picked for the shootout, but that is my biggest fear.
Your number
Is
one,
like-
Mackie.
is
We're
like-
putting you in
oh
first.
yeah.
Is like fucking missing that puck on my way in, and then that's it. Because I've played NHL,
Yeah.
you know, where you
miss it, the
accidentally
whistle
go
goes.
back and it just whistles you immediately. Oh, jeez. No, please, no, I don't want to.
Put some faith in the Benders. Like
Yeah.
I'm 2 for 2
Bender
in my
Bowl?
last 2.
We should do Bender shootout.
I know.
Next
I
year-
don't
No,
care.
No,
if
regular
it's 10
season.
to 3.
Regular season,
Regular
Bender
season
shootout
Bender
too.
shootout.
Give
and,
all the
you
glory
could
to
do, You
him.
could do any overtime.
Yes,
if it succeeds,
yes, there you go. I like that.
Bender
Proctor.
shootout.
We
I
don't
like
want.
that
We,
Bender
first of
shootout.
all, we don't want to be there all night.
Games got to end sometimes. boys.
Games gotta end.
Games got to end sometimes.
Second of all, if there's anybody in the ivory tower who's like, "Why don't we do the 3 and repeat?" It's me, and it's like, why? Why? It's because I don't want to have to go. Is my reason.
Bender overtime is one
End
of
it.
my
Just end it,
favorite
you're
things
done.
of the league.
Yeah.
Bender overtime.
No,
I'm,
is-
I'm talking
is the
about. I'm
greatest
talking about the
spectacle
shootout. I
in
like Bender
MNL.
overtime.
Yeah.
Actually, that's something I kind of want to speak about a little bit. Is
Bender
like
OT should
Bender
be permanent.
OT.
Permanent.
We've had I want to say a huge percentage, maybe like 3/4 of games get finished in Bender OT compared to
Oh,
the
hell
shootout
yeah.
this year.
Hell yeah.
I know the Deeks and the Maroons
Been
went to
great.
2 shootouts. I think there was the Tigers and the Whalers, but I think like we've had a
Yeah.
lot of games that have been Bender OT finishes, and it's been a really great year for Bender OT.
Yeah. I like Bender OT. Very fun.
It's been a great rule. No, I
Decriminalize Bender OT.
don't think I agree with this, but would there be any reason, since it happens in the regular season, that Bender OT should continue in the playoffs?
It should continue.
We've talked about it, and that's been not really well received from the higher skilled GMs to say that they want to put their best guys out there, the people who want to have that more of a compete. But we've talked about it a little bit, and I think we've kind of we're slowly getting there with the idea that like, hey, let's do Bender OT all year long instead of just the single rotation. And I think we need these stars, these people who get drafted in the first round, the second round, to come out and support your local Bender. Hit up your local Congress Bender
I've been
and
hit
let
up.
them know
I've been hit up.
that you want them to be doing it all year round, including in the playoffs. You got to
Sure.
show the support for them, or else the GMs will never hear you.
Well, yeah,
true.
because some people double shift themselves a lot.
Yeah, you know who you are.
Dale.
I'm fine with how it is for the playoffs now, but if you think about it, like they don't change the overtime rules in the playoffs for the NFL.
I agree, and that's something that I like. There's some things that like we do because of time, like. You
But
know,
like-
in the
but like,
playoffs,
your
like do
logic was sound
3
on that,
rounds
though.
for the shootout. Like, don't
Yeah.
let it come down to one type of thing. But
Dragger,
like, something like
Dragger.
Bender OT is not time
Dragger,
based.
do you want your fate at the playoffs in that play-in game on you?
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
it's
enough,
me
fair enough,
against
fair enough.
a Dale, a Pistol, a Shawnee, like
I
fuck
get that.
no.
Yeah,
but
okay.
like when you're
Yeah.
talking about like, yo, it's gonna be me and Piercy 1v1ing each other, like that sounds like be a great old
I
time.
didn't like that one.
I'm lowering my shoulder and I'm pulling it down on that one.
Baby, I learned from my
That'll
fellow
work. It
22.
works.
You flop down.
It-
You don't
trust
get the
me.
call all the time, but
I know you got a
You'll
bad
60-40.
60-40. But
I
your logic
still think
is
it's fun.
sound. Like you're going to double shift or, long shift your gooder guys. Better guys.
Gooder, yeah,
Gooder.
yeah,
Yeah,
gooder,
it's gooder.
gooder.
The bourbon's very good today.
Goody Proctor.
Yeah. The better guys at the last 2 minutes. And then if they
Yeah.
can't get it done, give the other guys a shot. They can get it done. Like you said, 75% of the time.
You have to police
the
it, but
benders
you can
knock
put
it down, man. Benders
you could
the
put
benders can play
you could
puck.
put one top 3
Hell
and then
yeah.
the rest benders. So they
Bust
only
is
have one.
scoring.
I
Charles
trust
is
me.
scoring. Mackey's scoring. Everybody's scoring.
Trust me, I agree with it. I like the idea. I know not everyone does, and I kind of understand why, but it's a similar change of the rules we made recently. Like the rules used to be you had to sub differently in the playoffs compared to the regular
You
season.
sub 2 down, right? Yeah, just sub 2 down
We
or
changed the
something.
rules to be like, why would we make it different? Like, let's consolidate. And it's less complex.
Yeah.
And I think personally, the only change that we should make is just like add more rounds to the shootout because you never want to be like a one and done. That's painful to have happen for a shootout. But I understand the reasoning in regular season.
But to your point too about having benders play in OT is you draft your team for a reason, right? If you draft, well enough, you are confident going in saying, hey, maybe my lower tier guys are better than the other team's lower tier guys.
That's
Yeah,
part of
for
the fun.
sure, sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to say like, hey, I drafted Proctor, Fister, Rick, therefore I have a better chance in OT. It's cool to say like, hey, I think I did a good job in the late rounds because all rounds matter, and we
Mhm.
want to make sure they have the opportunity to fucking kick ass.
Yep.
I don't like that choice of terms. You get it. Don't make that.
Hey,
choice.
outside of Piercy, I have great confidence in my lower level draft guys.
Fair.
Nice. I like Proctor Fister Rick. Let's just try that. Just run that a year.
That'd be a pretty good Bender
yeah,
OT
that'd be
line.
nice. Yeah, let's just run that one year. See what happens.
So I bet you me, Piercy, and Dragger would beat you guys.
Yeah, I like it. 3-on-3.
Bull
I hear there's a 3-on-3 at 11:30s.
All right.
Was I picked last? Like, you're not going to put me on your team?
You're first.
Okay.
First rotation. First sub.
I mean, there was the Proctor stopper on the one team, so just got to say that. So next on Monday, we start the second round of the playoffs.
This is the rounds, right? The rounds.
The best of three.
The best of 3 rounds.
Best of
yes.
three,
Yes.
second round. Our first matchup is going to be an auto versus auto matchup that everybody loves because that means one less auto is in the playoffs, maybe 2. But the North Stars versus the Seals. We'll start out with Charles because we'll have people that aren't in the playoffs anymore because they're a little bit more neutral. How are you seeing this matchup?
Sounds about right.
The North Stars have been hot for a while here.
Yeah,
And
they've been
they
hot.
got that.
They've
I
been
mean,
hot.
they earned that first round by they earned the President's Trophy, right? Did I get that right?
Yep.
So
Some trophy, Jimmy trophy, some gold trophy, gold
yeah,
trophy.
I'm sure there's like an essence of Otto that wants to be had there that maybe he earned it. I don't know, but they've got a lot of firepower. They scare me a little bit. I mean, with the Americans, when we were losing games, we were only losing by 1 goal. And then we were coming back and we had our opportunity to end up in the playoffs and the North Stars just crushed it. Like, I think we lost something like 5-2, something like that. And was it 7-3?
It was a bigger gap.
I wanted to forget. So yeah,
You can
And
let
they
him
had-
forget.
I mean,
Let the man forget.
we handled the Seals well the week before.
We
Or
did
2 weeks
too.
before,
Yeah,
and then we come back to the North Stars and they just pounded us.
Seals and the Deeks.
Yeah, back to back. Seals, Deeks, and then North Stars crushed our dreams. So although the Seals, and everybody's been saying like you can't discount any team in the playoffs, but I think that the North Stars just have too much. And then the Seals don't get to have Riley next week, so
to bail him out.
bail him out, he's gonna be working on his own
He's gonna be a
team.
hero. I like it.
Don't assume Z won't be playing.
Oh no, he's gonna be playing good.
Zeal will be fine, but he won't. But Riley's something else. He's
He is.
learned
He's
he's
been
learned how
hot.
to play playoff hockey for sure. So that's gonna be something that's gonna. I think that they have the edge. Absolutely.
Proctor, how do you see it?
Ooh, tricky. Yeah, Steel's been hot. So who the Seals play?
Seals are playing the North Stars,
Seals are playing the North Stars.
and the Whalers are playing the Maroons.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the Whalers curse.
Hey, we're focusing on game 1. We're going to go to the other one next. We're
Oh, okay,
focusing on
sorry.
the North Stars and the
Okay,
Seals.
North Stars. Okay, North Stars Seals. Yeah, I'd say North Stars are hot. Yeah, Fister's good. We fumbled our game. We beat them all during the regular season. We didn't play our right game. I'm gonna go North Stars. North Stars.
We also can't forget about MVP runner-up Chad Polinsky, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Time and a half.
Keep the arms up on defense against the Seals there.
I mean, I gotta have a conversation about Chad. That was gonna be my topic. Chad is a 8 or 9 goal scorer, contrary to popular belief. Chad
A
did
game?
a shit. No, per season right now.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Chad had a great season, an MVP caliber season, second to Charles Mackey.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth calling out that Chad was hot for that first part of the season. Him, Pellet, Bauer doing a lot of stuff, but the team wasn't winning as much. Credit to the Troy and Ty in the room to make the adjustments, but Chad's scoring went down pretty heavily. We remember Chad scoring a lot because he subbed every fucking game he could against the Deeks. And
what's subbing like? Is it cool?
it's
it
a
fun?
wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's fun.
Wasn't Rick going to let you sub when they had the bye?
No, yeah.
Yeah,
They never
awesome.
had the bye.
But
Don't let me.
this whole podcast, it's not about you. Sorry, it's actually the 22 podcast. It is.
Wait, when they had the bye.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
it's about us. I mean, I'm 1/4 of it.
Hey, look at us.
1/3 really.
So, but Chad scored slowed down a little bit, and the team did better.
It's tough to
And
carry.
it's not that
tough
Chad
to
wasn't
carry.
making a difference on the ice, but that just shows you how big of a difference that Fister, Rubel, Rattler, they all came up and they played
solid
well.
players. Rubel's solid on D. Rattler's a
Rattler,
player to
Rattler's one of the worst players to play against in the league.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
from
he
a
is. Dude,
from a
scrappy,
perseverance,
especially in the
he's all
playoffs.
over you.
Scrappy man. He's
He'll,
got a shot.
he'll take a
Love
penalty
Rattler.
and then he'll still come over and chirp you.
Yeah.
Tell you can't skate.
Well, I mean, for some of us, that's true.
But no, I would say the North Stars had the advantage. They have, top to bottom, I think they have the better players. Now we'll see what happens. The Seals came out against the Deeks and they were way more gritty, way more scrappy, and that's what led them to victory. Will they target Pfister? Soon to find out.
Unleash the Dale.
Pfister hurt Proctor year one, but Pfister hasn't been hurt yet.
Wow, see.
I don't wish
Don't put
on
that
the
evil on anyone, Ricky Bobby. Don't you do that.
I know that was just more. I'm laying the
I
ground
know.
rules. I'm putting it
Dude,
out there.
I hate the chip. It scares me, man.
Hey,
It sucks.
it's a game plan.
Be
What do
safe,
you
boys. Be
think people
safe.
do against you, Proctor? What do you think they do?
Be safe.
They say, "Hey, where's Proctor at?" You find Proctor, you guard Proctor.
Yeah.
What do you think they're doing against Pfister? Guard him. And then you know what?
That's true.
Some people say guard him. Well, guess what? I'm gonna do you one better.
Yeah, it's not the
I'ma put
panty
him in the
rules are in
bench.
effect.
Yeah.
It's the put him in the bench.
Make sure he doesn't come back out.
So the thing I noticed was obviously the North Stars all year, we've talked about them having two balanced lines that can, take it to any other line. That is true. And one of the talk I think we were hearing from Troy, especially, and other people in like the preseason rankings was how a complete team the Seals were. But we saw that kind of early, but we didn't see it at the end. And one of the things that I noticed late on, they were putting Shawnee kind of on an island. It was like Shawnee, Jim, and then it was like Leroy other weeks or whatever, and they were kind of stacking that Pete
Rutkowski
line.
for a little bit of time.
This
Yeah,
week
it was
here,
Rut.
they had more balanced lines. I think it was Rakowski and Shawnee, and then it was Pete and Joe Ellis type of thing. So they balanced it out more, and I think it was more effective. So I think they were looking for some special lineup near the end, and it was hurting their actual point production as far as where they were finishing it. But I think they've got, like, let's get back to our roots. And I think it kind of showed in the game against the Nordiques. And that makes it a little bit interesting. With all that said, I do think probably the North Stars are the more complete team. So it's hard not to say that they're going to win coming up.
They definitely did try a couple of things. And I think it was after we played them last time was like one of the last games that they had where they were like, cool, we're experimenting a little bit. I think it was like after that game, they're like, all right, Whoop's going up. All right, Leroy's going up. Antioch's going up. And they started trying to tinker a little bit. But
Yeah, I mean, you
the
gotta
line that they
tinker a little
rolled
bit.
was their standard line that they tried to roll all season. That was, it was successful in the beginning, got a little cold towards the end, and then they started
Did?
tinkering. But it was the same lineup for forwards, and then the only real change that they did was, like 100% Proctor rules in effect. If you're on the ice, Dale is out there, and they made damn sure of that type of situation. It was Dale and Antioch too, I think. So they were
Yeah.
doubling down on it,
Mhm.
and it worked against us.
It worked.
But that's because what has been our biggest issue all season? Scoring. And so that's the thing, is that the North Stars have some good talent on both lines that's able to score. And that's
True.
gonna
Have
help
some
them
shots.
quite a bit.
Rubel,
And you're not gonna be able to get away with that.
Rubel ripping head high clappers from the point.
Well, I
with
mean,
people in front of him.
Rubel's a forward
You
now,
gotta drop
allegedly.
that 1 foot, you Bardowski Rubel.
Rubel's a forward now.
He is.
I mean,
Fuck,
he
I
was
didn't know that.
he was last week. So
Yeah.
we'll see if
Good
they
for
try
you.
to pull that off and do that again this time. But if they do, I think
Yeah,
I
Charles
think they're
wearing his
having
North
some fun.
Stars hat.
Yeah.
All right, the noted goon in the room, tell us about it.
No, I just want to say Rubel's going from the head high shots from the point to the Adam's
Neck high.
apple high
Yeah,
shots
neck high
from
shots
the from the
slot.
face off circles. Yeah. But yeah, no, I love repping. I love this hat. I've had this hat since I was an inaugural North Star,
Same.
and the only
Listen,
time I
Matt-
don't wear
Matt
it,
got me this hat.
the only
That's a
time I
seal.
don't wear it is when I'm
Yeah.
playing
That's a
against the North
seal.
Stars.
Whale of Jesus.
Wait, no, that's a
Jesus.
Seals hat.
It's a Seals hat.
Oh, I think you said North
Math
Stars.
got me
Oh,
this. Yeah,
oh.
Math got me this.
I don't know if you know this, but Judge used to be on the Florida Panthers.
Oh, I know.
I was drafted in 06. Couldn't make it. Never made the pros. I was in the AHL.
Maybe next time.
My last way better now. So
Yeah, it sounds like everybody's thinking the North Stars right now.
Yep.
So we'll lean that way. Our second matchup of it would be the Maroons
losers.
versus the Whalers. I think the season series was 2-1 towards the Whalers. The one time we did beat them, there was no Trent. Big factor as well.
Number 2 guy in the league.
I think the second time we played them was our first game with Judge. We had him at forward. We've now moved him back, which I think has given us an extra spark. Let's just start with the teammate over here. And how do you see this matchup?
It's gonna go back and forth. It's gonna be gritty. Obviously, it's gonna be interesting to see what the Whalers do. They split up Rick and Trent. And then on our side, if we do anything differently, to your point, Piercy, we put me up top. We tried all firepower against them in game one. Trying to take advantage of their second line that was a little weaker, quote unquote. Scoring wise, we couldn't score. They beat us 3-1 that first game. Second game we came back. Trent wasn't there. I forget who subbed for Trent. With J Flow.
J Flow.
He scored. Yep. And Rick had the turnaround, no look, backhand pass to J Flow. Buried it. That was their only goal. We came down. I think we won 2. Well, was that Peso's two empty net goal game? That was it. That was it.
Right,
yeah. Clapper, one timer. Empty net. That's but hey, if Peso was shooting empty nets, we win. If Peso was shooting empty nets, we win.
Very astute. If the other team has to hold the goalie, we statistically win 95% of the time.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Hey, if Peso has an empty net in front of him, we win.
That's some Manny level stats about fucking pulling the goalie.
Usually if you pull the goalie, you don't win as much.
No shit, Sherlock. It doesn't work every time.
30% of the time.
It's gonna be a hard fought game. Series. They have probably the best defense all around, unless they put Dylan back there whacking and sliding around like he did last night. He was looking like some other kind of fish out of water last night, sliding around. But he made the plays in order for them to win. But usually they have a solid decor. They stacked the first line. We'll see how that pans out. Trent did double shift a lot last night. When Skellman tried to play the advantage to putting his top line out there, Trent was out there still. So there's going to be tic-tac-toe pretty much.
I mean, that begs a good question. Who usually wins when you're playing the matchups? Is it usually the person who's trying to force the matchups, or the team that's saying, fuck your matchups, I'm going to roll my lines?
That's a good point. I mean, I don't know. Where's our Amazon stats?
Stat that.
Yeah.
I had to have a lovely conversation with Troy today about AWS. He was like, what the fuck is an AWS? Why is it down? And I was like, the NFL commercial where they go, stat that. He goes, yeah. I'm like, that's what it is.
Yep.
Half the internet runs on it, and it's down right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the funny thing so far is Dylan has been playing defense. But in our first 2 matches against the Whalers, I feel like our second line should be outmatching talent-wise their second line. But it's been pretty much even across the board. And if anything, they might have outplayed us, like where we didn't get as many opportunities. So that's the weird thing. I feel like
what's going to come down to, in my honest opinion, is goaltending. And whoever stands on their head more, and if he had to hold the gun to my head right now, I'm gonna take Pangrazzi instead of Cam.
The way that I would view it is, I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. There's way too much fucking talent on the ice with how everything's shucking out. But with the opportunity of what you're saying,
They've
like,
all been
a
low
goalie
scoring,
can't
though.
steal this.
They've all been low scoring games between us.
That's fair. I'm just talking about how your two teams have done throughout the season.
Your guys' games were still low scoring for an MNL game. I mean, both playoff games. I mean, maybe you can call 3-3 high scoring, but they haven't been 5. It's
true.
Yeah, I'm not expecting 5-6 or anything like that, but I still think it's like offensive talent's going to show up. But don't count out either Pangrazzi or Cam to steal this game.
Jay Dale, and Trent might come over the line one time. Maybe Rick. Maybe look at a stick somewhere.
Send a motherfucker to the shadow realm.
Yeah, hey, guess what? I'll take one for the team, Piercy.
Give it a shot.
You traded for the right guy.
Hey, the best thing about this matchup right now is it's best of 3, not best of 1.
Mm-hmm.
Proctor, how do you see this matchup going?
I'm gonna give the old Whalers curse a shout out, and it'll be Maroons North Stars final. Slick Rick, good team. Trent, good team. Maroons, I think, more well balanced after the trade, and I think they're gonna pull it out. I think both series will go to 3 games.
Hey, I just want to say something
series,
before. Sorry, Charles. On the whole Pangrazzi and Cam thing, I have seen Cam play on Wednesday nights and been stellar. For some reason, on Monday nights, he just doesn't find himself.
It's tricky.
And those would be fighting
night of
words.
the week, man.
Those would be fighting words. I get that.
It's tricky.
Is that a call out?
It was. I wasn't trying
It's
to
a
do
Monday
that.
night, like
So someone
hard.
clip that.
Mondays are hard.
Stat that.
Yeah.
Over under 5 penalties by Rick this set of playoffs.
Rick's a hack? I didn't know this.
Rick
What is
gets
this
called
new-
for penalties. I
Wow.
wouldn't necessarily call him a
Did
hack.
him and Jay Dillon
but
need
he
to get
gets-
together?
he gets
Because I don't
thrown-
even know about this.
He gets thrown in the box all the time.
Man, he's just throwing bows?
Sometimes
What's he doing?
it's like 2 times a game. Sometimes.
Man.
So I'm saying
Dirty Rick.
it's gonna be over if they go to 3 games. If it's 2 games, it's gonna be under.
Ooh.
But it's gonna be damn
Dirty
close.
Rick, I didn't know this about
So
him.
a
Crazy.
2 penalty average is what Mackie's saying over
Yeah,
here.
Yep.
man, fuck.
I was requested to quote unquote stat that, and the stat for Slick Rick with Pims on the season is 14. 7
That's
penalties.
a lot of mins.
It's a lot of mins for a guy who's that high
How,
up.
how
Yeah.
many? How many does Judge have?
Sorry,
Lady Bang.
I
Lady
gotta,
Bang.
I gotta
Lady
scroll
Bang.
down a little bit
Hey,
to get to Judge.
Hey Ben, can
Yeah.
I get the Lady Bang this year?
Yeah, you can.
No, you have 6 penalty minutes.
You're sick.
You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
almost as many as the whole fucking
Phantom
Deeks
penalty
team
minutes.
does.
Yeah.
The ref doesn't like me.
I have a third of them for
No.
Kayla.
Yeah,
I blame
no.
Kayla.
No, the
we
ref does
dropping
not
his
like
stick.
me. The
Fuck
ref
your
does not
stick,
like
Kayla.
me.
I just want to put it out there. I'm an MVP candidate and I have 0 Pims. so
true.
I
There we
think
go,
that sounds
ladies.
like a
Clean
lady
as
bang.
Clean as Pim. Chad's got Pims. I know
Additionally,
he does.
Skillman 22 Pims, honorary 22. Good for him.
Welcome, Skillman.
Why is he not
Honorary
on the podcast
22,
right
yeah. Honorary 22.
I'll go pick him up.
Welcome, Skillman.
Yeah.
Point number one.
That guy is a goon.
We see where a clean team got you. An exit in the first round of the playoffs.
Getting our face punched in.
Yeah, we got our fucking
Done,
dicks kicked in. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Battered
Didn't
and
even
bruised,
defend Proctor.
Vomiting in the locker room.
Even though you could have claimed Cone might have threw a punch somewhere.
He threw a glove. He
in
admitted
there.
to it. He was
Could've-
proud of it.
He took off the blocker to do that too.
He
I want to
did?
respect that difference. He was about to do it and he showed constraint and he was like,
I heard he hit him with,
Respect.
he threw the glove at him instead of the blocker.
maybe it was the glove.
Yeah,
When
it's
he
the
didn't think
glove.
about the
Yeah.
blocker. He was like, no, I remember doing that to Pierce in season 1.
I was gonna say that sounds awfully familiar.
Respect.
Yep.
Respect.
So that was point number one. Mackie, I don't think we got your thoughts on this series.
I do think the Whalers curse exists, but I also am disinterested in having my final matchup be the 2 bye-week teams. So just to shake things up a little
Fair
bit,
enough.
I'm gonna say that Cam's gonna find himself in this series,
Ooh, I like
and
it.
it is gonna be, and Pengrazi is just not gonna be able to hold on. It's gonna be a high-scoring affair.
Ain't
There
gonna
are a
happen.
lot
I
of
like it.
Ain't gonna happen.
ain't gonna, I think that the Maroons have a lot of good talent and they're a scary team to play against, but I just see the Whalers making it to the finals and then losing there.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then Drager.
My choice to wear this shirt today, you can look at me now, boys,
jeez.
is that was not unintentional.
Look away, wives.
Oh,
Look
gosh.
away.
I mean, at least it's not my fucking chest. But the I wore this shirt for this reason. Big fan of the Maroons and the team that they've built. But you know, Sugar's won. My boy Judge hasn't, but he will soon. I believe in that. Pesos won. All these guys. I don't give a shit if Dougie and Piercy win another one because they won one season 1. Like I'm looking at Trent. I'm looking at Slick Rick. I'm looking at my boy Matty L. I'm looking at Cammer. I'm looking at all these people down the line who I want them to get their first time. I
So
want
they
them to
haven't.
pop it
Wait,
hard.
Trent hasn't won yet.
He is not. No,
Oh, so all right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they got. So
I got
First
a little bit of
time
on
rumors.
Kegers.
the, on the list of the Maroons,
First-time
who is
Kegers.
it? Who is it? Just me. There's got to be someone else.
Man,
in there.
that's commiserating. My boy Simonelli hasn't won it.
That's my
I'd
boy
love
too.
to- I'd love to see
Hey,
him win
hey,
one second
hey,
year.
hey, his draft stock. You know, he doesn't bring snacks anymore, so don't draft him.
Bullshit. Fucking, he came
He
over to the
dropped
Deeks
off
room.
snacks.
He
He
came over to the
dropped
Deeks
off
room
Cheetos
last
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 year.
week, and he was just like,
Why?
"Hey, here's a
Sims is
bag of
bringing it.
pretzel rods and some
Banging.
flaming hot
Sims is
Cheetos."
banging.
No,
Yeah, get the fuck
no.
out
He
of
said
here.
next year he can't afford it. Can't do it.
Man, you're just trying to tank his value so he can go in a good spot. Said it a
Venandi,
little too early.
I think's won one. Collins won one. I've won one. Pengrazi hasn't.
When did Venandi win it? I don't know if he has.
Isn't he a North Star?
North Star.
Yeah.
The most
He was a
recent.
North Star.
I didn't think he was a North Star that season.
Felt like
Yeah,
he was
he
always
was.
a North Star.
Yeah, he's very often a North Star. I'd love
But-
to see Venandi
I'm
win
looking
if he
at
had
Fisher
one.
What about
to
Dougie?
drop. I'm looking at
What
Rick
about
to
Dougie?
drop.
Year
Dougie
one?
sub.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, last year was hard on us. Fister was like I was in the championship 2 years in a row, and I lost both years. And like our team, I liked our team last year. We didn't put together till late. We should have never been in the bottom of the barrel last year, but we were. And
Yeah.
then playoffs, you know, we beat the Whalers, swept them 2-0.
Yeah, you did.
Took
Kept
out-
Matt Taylor to 0 points. Love you,
Sam,
Matt Taylor.
Sam,
You'll never hear
Sam,
this podcast
Sam,
for
I
another-
am, the garbage man.
Yeah,
Saved
right.
everything.
I like bringing up this stat. just because it toots my own horn. But last year in the playoffs, I had as many goals as the entire Whalers organization. So,
Is that 0?
Oh,
what's that?
Is that 0?
No, it's 2.
No, that,
What
yeah.
the fuck, man? I had it in one game. Yeah, so
That's awesome.
just
Well
putting that
done.
out there.
Well done.
Yeah, and obviously I have to pick my team. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. There's been a lot of battles back and forth, but
Both are going to 3 games. Both.
I'd loved if they didn't.
Yeah.
Let's get spring started early. I'm going on vacation. I want to have to come back to broadcast your guys' ass when you guys are playing.
Hey, it is gonna be
Game
it is
3.
it's gonna be interesting to see the untouchable Whalers for most of the season. Right, no one could beat them. They were top tier, and then it was like the Seals. It was like the Seals. The Seals went on a skid, and
I was gonna say that's arguable. Like, yeah, they started off real hot. They had a little Matty
Yeah.
T. They switched over to a little Slick Ricker, and then they slowed down real hard. They had a hard slide towards the end.
Mhm.
They had like one win, I want to feel, during 2022, and then they took care of business last night. So let's not act like they're untouchable. You know
They-
who's untouchable is the
I will
people who
say
got
this.
the bye.
I will
They were
say this.
untouchable
I will
last
say
night,
this.
literally.
They slid through by skin into their teeth for argue to Pierce's point earlier. Anyone in the playoffs right now can beat anybody. It didn't matter if you played the Tigers or the Nordiques or if you played the Seals. Obviously people thought the Seals were going to be, they've lost, the last 5 games or something, and that they're going to be a pushover, and they weren't. The 1-game elimination, I was talking about that at dinner. Why don't we have 3 games throughout the whole time, or best of 3, and obviously for time restraints, but
Yeah.
it makes those 2 positions, first and second, more valuable.
You
Definitely
earn
does.
that spot, and it's a big fucking deal.
It's big.
And,
Yeah,
and at least
and
in my thought, and I don't think we could do it coming up because we still don't know the situation with the rinks. But if there was ever a case, say next year, where it's like, you could get what do we have, 9, like maybe like 9:30, 10, maybe 10:30 or something.
That'd be nice.
whatever it
That'd
works
be
out
nice.
to, where we could essentially get like an 8th team. I still think we do 6 teams and do the same
Not
playoff
happening.
format.
It's already got
Yeah,
squashed.
I think no matter how we do it, like, because we were talking a little bit about expansion earlier, and people always ask that. That's not in the cards for next season. We don't plan on it. Usually, for the most part, people have been pretty okay.
Merger.
What? Lee, you keep saying this. But I think most people are, for the most part, kind of okay with the bye. Some people love it, some people don't. But I think the idea is when we do get that 8th team, because it's our manifest destiny, it's going to happen. When it does happen, I think it's 2 teams out. I don't think
I
it's
totally
2 teams
agree.
out.
yeah, I don't
2
think
teams out.
we find a way to be like, okay, let's include the 7th and the 8th team. Now it's like, I like the fact that the top 2 teams get rewarded. Those middle teams, they fight for positioning to try and say who I want to play against and try to go higher to play someone who's a little bit lower.
And we
And
should
those
just
bottom
trash
teams are
those
out.
bottom. We should make them feel bad. Worse,
We should make
worse
them be the
than they already
refs.
do.
We should make them be the refs.
Yeah, we should make them feel awful, dressed naked or something.
Should MNL have a relegation and promotion system where we have like a Champions League and a
Yes.
Premier League? I don't know how how
Yeah.
it works. Hedges is gonna kick my ass when he hears that I probably got it wrong or whatever.
like a hazing thing or something. Yeah.
Hashtag.
I don't like the relegation system. If anything, I would prefer
To play
to
with
do.
like Troy's kids or something.
And it
Like,
would be
you play
tough to
with them.
figure out at first, but it'd be almost be like the most seniority team, and it'd probably have to be the original GMs would have to draw straws, like leaves every year. So essentially, you'd get like a 7 or
What the hell are you
8-year
talking
run
about?
type
Why
of
the
thing.
hell would you ever do that?
Well, the last team would have to draw straws to like reset.
He's
Like-
suggesting basically like the original 4 teams, North Stars,
Yeah.
Nordiques,
So do they go back to the
Whalers.
draft, or they don't play that year?
They just have to step down as GM. So you
Yeah.
essentially
Yeah,
have like
they
a
step-
7
they
or
step down
Oh,
as
I
GMs.
got you,
Yeah,
got
that
you,
should be
got you.
You're
interesting.
kicked out of MNL. Bye, motherfucker.
You messed up so
I've
bad.
heard this happen
You're gone.
before. I've heard this happen before.
No, because I don't think it'd be fair to someone like a Crunk who's like, you're 1 year, now you're relegated. It's like maybe you learn some lessons. You can pick on that. It's like, okay, you got 7, 8 years,
Pick
whatever the
Fister.
amount of
That's
teams
it.
we are. Now you're out. If you want to eventually try to get back in the pool, you can. But if there's other people, but I don't know. I kind of like how. Well, I guess I'm a GM now, so it's easier for me to say.
No,
I like
big
how
guy.
it is
Big guy
a
over
successful GM, you might add.
debatable, but
he hasn't won yet.
He's in the final. He's
Gotta
in,
buy it.
He's in the
Yeah.
show.
He tasted the just the nectar of being able to be in the ivory tower
It's true.
and look
The
down on us
three
on
games.
us
Hey,
peasants.
I have a question for my own GM. Who's the brains and who's the brawn? You or Doug? Who's who?
Me and Doug actually work very well together.
team.
It's a very combination.
Yeah, I can see
No
that.
So,
brains,
I can see
no
that.
brawn.
Just for some reference, I'll throw it out there. Edge was Doug's idea. I think I originally said like, I think we need a forward there. He's like, no, he can play forward. I was a big guy.
Were you guys
on-
ever going to draft Judge there?
I like what this is going.
Hey.
we
That
weren't
is going.
we weren't targeting you there. We
Will
thought you would
probably
actually
ever
be
be a
gone
North
by
Star.
then, so we
No.
didn't even
Oh,
consider
okay.
you.
All right, fair enough.
So you weren't targeted there. Like, for example, the 4th round, Peso was a big guy for me. And I think that was also because I was playing with him in the summer. In the
Solid
spring on the
player.
K-Falcons, I saw how he expanded his game. I think a lot of people have saw that now. Even some guys on our team at the beginning of the year, they're like, look at Peso. His game has really changed. I was a big,
Strong empty net presence.
Yeah,
his pass,
score with no goalie.
his passing and his defense has gotten
much
a
easier.
lot better.
Yep.
It's been for years now. He's been a slowly growing player. If you haven't noticed, that's on you.
Well, a lot of people didn't, and it's why he slipped. I would say next year he's probably moving up in the draft. I think I was a big Q-tip guy. So I think we've done a combination, and there's a lot of guys like when we look at, usually we'll do our rankings, we'll look at them together. They're pretty similar as far as even the trade goes. Doug, apparently Crunk reached out to him, came with an offer. I didn't actually like it. I was like, what if we did this? We agreed upon it because we thought the original offer was like, nope, it's way too much. So we're very much together, kind of an opinion type of thing. I don't think there's ever a thing if we didn't agree on it, we wouldn't do it.
Let me ask you this: 2 GMs on the goalies in the draft. How do you feel about that?
I love that.
That's tricky. I was a big proponent of it this year. I think it's if you want to get a particular player, you got to pay for it type of thing. We're not able to do this usually when we had so many issues with Cone as a goalie and as a GM in the draft to try and say like, cool, like when he was just a GM and it was a separate goalie round, it was easy. Just like, cool, no matter what, the Deeks will get him. Loud.
But some
the
people could
Deeks
also
will get
say
him.
that's not fair because you're really not losing anything. If you get the last pick, you still get maybe like the 4th,
But
somewhere between the
Yeah.
1 and 4 best goalie.
Yeah, we know what we're gonna get, and it's the risk that we could overpay, we could underpay, and it was whatever. But if he's like a free roaming goalie in the draft, like we try to make so many stipulations and rules of like, oh, Cone has to go at this round, but if Jay flows off the board at this round, then we're gonna flex him to this round. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but I enjoy it because there was 2 times where teams decide, hey, I'm gonna roll high for goalies, and it was the Deeks and the Americans, and I think Kayla didn't have, with no offense to the Americans, the supporting cast to be able to have as strong of a season as he did last year. But
Well, in that,
I turned and looked at Busta with puppy dog guys as soon as I was like, but Cone's still available and goalies are going.
But to
And
be
so
fair
it
to
cost.
or to counter your point about the Nordiques was with your keeper spot and Busta's keeper spot, you're like, we're either taking a goalie now or the last round. So it kind of was not a big of a stretch as what the Americans did.
that was our plan from the get-go, was we were going to say, cool, we're going to take that goalie in the last round. I
Whoever
ain't
there.
scared.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
get
give a
that.
shit, and I feel good. And then
you build around them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, because I was, it's like drafting fantasy, whatever, football, whatever what your middle rounds was what build your teams, right? So if you trade around, we traded back-to-back picks, I'm pretty sure, to get Kila. I'm pretty sure we traded back-to-back picks. I'm pretty sure it was the 7th and the 8th coming around.
something like that.
We would have had to because we had back-to-backs.
Yeah, and that's with us. We got lucky with essentially the draft lottery having that first pick in the last round. So we were pretty confident we were going to get a pick, probably 3 to 4 goalie that pick. So we knew it wasn't going to be like, oh, you have to pick something else. So we were pretty good on our guns. There was people who were like, oh, there's Cam, there's Hedis.
Yeah,
We didn't know when he was coming back. There was a possible
Tricky,
knee injury
yeah.
as well.
Tricky.
Where we didn't want to, to us, it was just like,
Took a
that's too
shot
much of a
at that
risk.
sniper.
I
on the
asked
field.
about that. I said, why? Because Hedis was what, the second and last goalie taken, third?
I think he was 3rd. He went before Cam, Z, and
I thought
Riley.
he was in the
actually.
last round. Was he in the last round?
Most of the goalies.
Oh, okay.
Only
alright,
2.
yeah.
So, yeah, and like with our scouting and everything we heard about Pangrazi last year, and then the season wasn't great because of the team around him, but everything we saw, we're like, we really like how he looked in like the preseason last year, like talking to just some of the goalies, like his technique is really good, all that. We're like, we're going that. And he's exceeded my expectation. And even like, he's not a guy who like posts a lot in general. So like, you didn't really know that. But then like, He posts a good amount in the Maroons channel. Really good about that. Even just like last night, comes to the game, watches stuff like that. So like that whole side of him of like how much he participates and cares like has exceeded my expectations as well. So it just made it like in my mind that much of a better pick.
I will say this about the Americans, and it's going back to earlier when you asked the question, is going from the Americans to the Maroons. The Americans chat, the Slack chat is pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And like when I went to the Maroons, like people, I mean, it's not every day blowing up, but people are talking and this and that, and the Americans was pretty dead, just in general. So I know that's no team morale necessarily, but
You gotta send them titty gifs, man.
hey, you got
Every Nordiques, man.
It's still
titty
team
gifs.
morale, even when you're not with the team.
That was like my responsibility. Titty gifs. That's it.
Get them going.
Yeah, I know. Gotta
get the
rile
boys
them up.
going. Yep.
Yeah, and I think
whether you're giving them cocaine or titty gifts,
Yeah,
something to get the boys hard.
Gotta get
Something to
them
get the boys hard.
Yeah, and I think one thing, I think we have a pretty positive locker room. It's a pretty good locker room. Even the channel's positive. I think that's a big thing, and I think it's a tough thing. You talk about with like the whole Dave and Guma thing. They get that fight that you try to keep it positive, but that kind of brings it down where it's like, no matter what happens, let's have fun.
It actually made
cool.
the team better, I thought. I mean, everyone. I mean,
fire. Yeah,
everyone at that point. You want to win when your team has some kind of emotion, right? Where every team just says, well, we lost, go home on time, and I'm gonna go home, right?
Yeah.
But when you have that passion, it's a good thing. It's never a bad thing, right? And you have two people who feel differently about what happened out there, right? Two different views, but that's just life. So you bring it together and you hope it works out. And we played better the next couple games. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't the outcomes that we wanted, but
I think it's weird with MNL. In 6 years, I've been only on 3 teams, and obviously with the whole, Maroons, I have to be on that team. But it's been like the Whalers twice, the Seals twice, and the Maroons twice. I think I've only really been in one locker room that I was like, not a very good locker room, and there was one that was a little bit weird as well. But I think overall,
What do you mean by weird?
a lot of dicks or what?
Yeah. And I get naked every time.
Was it Dylan?
A lot
You
of
can
dirty,
tell us it was
a lot
Dylan.
of dirty dicks.
Tap,
A
tap.
lot of
I
dirty
think that
dicks.
was year two that I was on the Seals, which was maybe year 3. I don't know. Whoop was in one of his weird phases where he was showing up every game for the MNL, but he was like, he wasn't seen for the Worms for like 6 months, things of that realm. So it always made it a little bit weird there. But the Walters Whalers year, he's a little.
Oh yeah, forgot about Walters.
You can speak ill about him. He's not in the league anymore. He's not legally allowed to watch the podcast. Go ahead.
Not
He's-
legally.
I mean,
Whoa,
it's on
legally.
it's
We're
YouTube
not legal
free,
now.
We're
so
talking restraining
he
orders.
could find it. He could find it.
He was just more. We're all adults here. If you're not showing up, tell me. We're not doing roll call. We're not doing that. We're all men here.
You clearly have never met MNL.
He used to be.
It's
yeah.
man-child
we
nightlights.
lost Chris Taylor like 3 days ago.
There's all the trash that's left strewn about after the games and stuff. Like these are people who never grew up and from their mommy picking up
true.
after them.
It's true.
I got
Trash.
Half these people have spawned children, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and was
You
that a
don't
good
have to be
idea?
a responsible adult to have kids.
Trash.
Man-child nightlights. I like it.
So it is the 22 podcast. Is there any other 22 subjects or just subjects in general?
I think we had one.
What do we have?
Honorary 22 members.
Oh, we got one right in our midst.
We do.
Sitting right here.
We
Big
do.
Cat
Congratulations,
2-2.
Pierce. Oh, me.
Yeah. Big
Yep.
Cat 2-2.
Yep.
Yeah,
I have 22 memorabilia
sure you're not
in
talking
my
about-
basement.
that's true.
Are you sure you're not talking about Cooper?
Cooper, yeah, Cooper's good. He's good.
There
He's
is an
classy.
honorary member.
Fucker's been nipping my
Kimmel.
ankles all night.
Kimmel,
Yeah.
Kimmel,
Yeah,
will be
Kimmel's
honorary
not
too,
here.
too.
He's in the group chat.
Yeah,
Cam's in there too.
Cam.
I mean,
yeah.
if I see a goalie wear
Some
22
good
one
honorary
time, hey,
2-2s.
I'll tap him on the
So,
back. Say,
I mean, I think every team needs a 2-2. You know, there should be 7 2-2s in this league,
yeah,
and there's
well,
only 4.
There must always be a 2-2 in Winterfell.
There always, always.
It
There
did.
must always
It did
be.
cross my mind like a week ago, where it was like, if we don't have a 2-2 on our team next year, should we just make that our sub jersey?
could.
That'd be dirty. I love it. That's
but then
so
what do the
dark,
other
I love
teams
it.
do? And now you're just
Doesn't
like
matter.
you're
It's your
stealing
own
our power because
sub-jersey. Right.
Wait, so we
22
had
is
this,
all about absorbing
I
powers.
know, it is.
we had this conversation last time. I think. Is there any other number out there that has multiple members?
Dude, so at work today, everyone and their mom's like,
so.
Happy Tuesday. And it's like the big thing that everyone's doing. And people are like, that's so much fun. And I'm like, all right, so I need to explain to you what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to be drinking old fashions. Already failed at that. But I'm going to be drinking old fashions and going on a podcast for my hockey league talking about everyone who wears the number 22. And they're like, and I'm like, it's like a weird like cult thing. It's not.
I'm missing
at 2 o'clock.
It's not a healthy relationship.
I'm letting my other team down in my Tuesday league because I'm here.
Yeah.
This is the first week of
Cancel
playoffs.
plans with my wife.
Can I get a hoo-ha for 2-2 Tuesday?
Get a hoo-ha.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hoo-ha,
I
baby.
know I'm 7. I think Wells is 7. And Swokas
7.
was 7, I think, last year.
On 7s?
I think his daughter was born maybe on the 7th or in July.
7th.
But I don't
What
think
are-
he's a
there are-
7.
what
Few
are-
twos,
goal-
but that's just people wear 2. 'cause
Well,
they're
if
2.
you're
got it
number
from-
2, you could be absorbed in 22 if you're
I
number
appreciate
2.
it. I'm one half of a 2-2 member. My question is, does the power that 2-2 holds, is it finite? Like, do you
Yes.
spread? If you spread it
Yes.
amongst too many people, will you get worse?
Yes.
Will your pantycopter be weak?
I don't know. Ask
No.
Pfister last year.
No,
Did you not watch the
Ask
game last
Pfister
night?
last year.
Yeah,
Tigers.
you can literally physically beat it out of someone, and it just floats to the next 2-2.
Full extension,
Yeah.
2-arm shiver.
Yeah, it floats to the next 2-2 worthy.
Man,
Well, hey, I'm not
Yeah.
wearing 22 this year, and I'm playing better hockey. So
See,
But you
I know.
still,
You know,
you
hey,
still got
I'm wearing
the
number 19.
I
It
wore
could-
22 last 2 weeks too. I wore your 22 during playing with the Americans.
Yeah, and how'd
Yeah.
that go?
I mean,
Not so good.
I looked good, except for the
Not
fact
so
that it
good.
was a medium, but I looked good.
Yeah, I know. I bought a medium because I thought the large was a little too large.
Yeah.
I want to look a little slicker so I can go faster.
Yeah, there you go.
You know.
Yeah.
So it is the podcast, and I was asking Drager some tough questions earlier about the lineups and all that. He was, a little. So Proctor, Mr. 22, the original, the known for that, the emoji that always leans towards you. If I'm correct, was it the first 3 years you won the keg?
First 3 years.
Haven't won one in 3 years.
I won't win one again. I don't think. I think I did the math. I think you only get 3 years in this league before the league figures out what you are,
Tell me about it, right?
and then and then they just collapse on you like a neutron star.
So wait. So do you have the most MNL wins, or who has the most? It's probably not even you. It's probably a mid-tier guy.
No, yeah, it's like Rallin. I think Rallin has 3.
Rallin has 2. He has one with the Americans, and one with the
Whoop
Ds.
has 3. Maybe
Whoop has 2.
Okay.
You're still the only 3er, but there is a chance, I believe, that there's probably still, I think it might just be Whoop and Shawnee.
Yeah,
I
Whoop and
can be
Shawnee.
corrected on that.
Yeah.
That might have a chance to go for the 3-peat this year.
Yeah.
So is Proctor going number 1 next year, or is it going to be
No.
someone else?
No, Slick Rick.
No,
Have you
it's
seen
Slick
Rick? Come on. This
Yeah.
guy's fucking garbage.
Slick.
This guy is second round material. Put him
Yeah,
right next to
second round.
Pete.
Please stop punching me, and I want to go 2. That's all I want.
Second spot in the second round.
Yes.
2-2, baby.
Yes, exactly.
For life.
That's where I want to go. That's my ideal position.
I told
2-2.
Proctor to find someone slightly better than you. That's not really better than you. So then they get drafted ahead of you, and then
Yeah.
no one
See,
no one
Pete
remembers
was
you.
smart. Judge was smart. You kind of slunk down to that 2 spot. Man,
Judge is smart because he doesn't skate.
No, you skate when you want to, baby.
Yeah, well,
But you
that's the
got
point,
it.
Proctor. That's the point. That's the point.
Yeah, I know.
That's why
When
I
you
get
want
traded
to.
every year. That's why I got traded
It's
every
all
year.
about 2. Yeah.
Do you want to get traded, or you want to be on a team?
Oh, I know, but you're still in the contention, so you're all right.
Yeah, not year one. I actually got hurt year 1. Skillman hurt me because he's playing me round 1, so he intentionally paid the other team in Rochester to break my collarbone.
Yeah. So we had the Matt Taylor
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with
one
you, buddy.
last year.
I'm with
Now
you, buddy.
Proctor's like, I'm not going one again. Is it Rick? Is it someone else? Is it a Fister? Sugar's had a great year this year, kind of a comeback year as well.
Has
Hey,
Fister won it? Fister hasn't won it?
No, he's talking about going one
No one knows
overall.
about Sugar.
Oh,
no
one
one
overall.
Piercy. No one
Hey,
looks at
he
stats.
won't be on
Piercy.
your team next year.
No
It
one
won't
looks
matter.
at stats.
I think for me, I think it has to be Rick. I think Fister has contention for it. I think Sugar had a great year, but Sugar's going to be like it doesn't matter. People are still going to be down on him. Oh, I don't know if I should take Sugar, but well, it's the same thing that I think Peso gets a lot. Like, you're like, Peso's going to go up, and like the Troy Auto mock drafts are going to come out, and he's going to be sitting around 4, mid 4, early 4, and they're like, oh, I guess Peso can
You
go
kind of
here.
have your GMs with the build though.
Some people have the
So your GMs
biases.
with
They
the
have
build.
what they
Here's your
want to build.
biases.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Slick Rick, Fister, Sugar. I'll go 4. And then
That's where Shawnee goes.
That's Shawnee's spot.
Shawnee's a GM, so he can go wherever he wants if he's still a GM. Which is
I don't know if you
cheating.
know this, but
Shawnee.
he doesn't. And they whine about it every year.
Yeah, he's cheating, Shawnee. Why don't you be released into the wild and see where you really are?
Then we got Trent going 7 next year.
Yeah, see.
Wait, you guys already set it up?
No, we haven't. We're just
We're
ad-libbing.
Oh,
working
okay.
about it. I'm gonna draft Serta, Fem, Bin, Fister, and Kayla in spring, and that's it.
That sounds like the trade that Head is trying to put together for the
He
Tigers.
said that's it. I'm gonna go 4 skaters and 1 goalie.
Yeah.
Proctor, we'll give you that team as long as you agree to take Dave P as well.
Done. 5. He's our 5 guy. Round him out. Dave P. Done.
So who are the GMs for spring?
Yeah, do we have the GM for spring?
So we got a handful lined
I'll-
up. We have some questions of who will be the rest of them, but
The
we
rest? So we don't have enough?
we have one opening as of right now
One
that's available to be
opening.
filled. We got
Kayla. See you
David
later.
Judge over here on my left.
Oh, it's
You
Judge.
don't want to be on my team.
Oh,
We got
I'm a GM. I can't be.
Paul
I'll
Proctor.
draft you.
I know.
If I draft you, you're on my team.
So then we get double the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
We'll
that.
just
I like
merge.
that.
Merger.
I like that. Merger. That's the merger I've been talking about.
20
all day.
skaters.
we got Paul Proctor over my right,
Oh,
and then we
God,
have
so we've had-
Andrew Hedis,
Yeah, Hedis.
who's been chomping at the bit for the opportunity.
Is he skating out?
That is the intent. We're going to do our best to
Oh,
honor
So,
that.
so it sounds like Fister is the is he playing in spring?
I mean, I thought he'd be here tonight, and he's not. So
I want Uncle
I think his
Fister.
word is not
I
fucking
want,
oak.
I want Uncle Fister to be the last GM.
Make Uncle Fister the last GM and just
Make-
have him attached with Chris. Chris
Yes.
just goes along for the ride,
Yes.
but Gene makes all the decisions.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
And then
I like
he
that.
won't draft his nephew.
No, he has
No,
to
he,
get
no,
him.
he won't.
He's
He
his
can't.
avatar in the
He
league.
can't draft his
He
nephew.
He can't.
It's a rule.
This is the
He has
same
to
thing when
draft a team against his nephew.
this is the exact same thing when Swanee's like, "Can I draft a team from New York?" I'm like, "No."
That'd be badass if he
Yeah,
could.
but what the fuck is it gonna do? We're just gonna be a blank spot where a GM should be?
Yeah. We'll fill it in.
Yeah.
The Swanee stand-in. A J-Flow.
Who
My,
who the goalies in spring?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
We're still lining that up. By the sound of it, it sounds like it's gonna be Riley.
Oh, very
We're
nice.
looking at a cone.
Champion.
Riley's
Ah.
cousin, John Gamer, if you remember him from season 2 with the Americans, has expressed interest. And then
Guy won the cup?
I thought
Yeah,
we
he
were doing.
did.
I thought we were
He won
doing
the
Bender
Okay.
goalies.
I thought
that,
was-
that went over like a lead balloon.
I would love to do that. I would love to
I
do
know,
that.
I know.
I'll play goalie. It's my dream to play goalie.
Consult
My
my
dad never let
lawyer.
me.
Don't
Yeah.
talk to me.
My
Trust
dad
me.
never let me. He
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Hey,
Second
you can
best to
skate.
empty net."
I mean, don't play goalie. You can skate."
Yeah, that's an empty. Yeah,
Can I make a
that's-
comment about how terrified I am about Hedis being a GM? No offense, Hedis. You try to run teams that you aren't a GM on. He'll be yelling, screaming from the bench about how, when we pull a goalie, about how we need a left-hander taking the face off, screaming. And then you're going to actually give him the power to make that choice and that
Yeah.
change.
Oh,
I don't want to
he's
be on
gonna
your
be
team.
kicking his own guys out of the
Everyone's
face-off
gonna be on the
circle.
trade block every
Yeah.
week.
At least he's not doing it from the crease if we end up letting him skate
Oh,
out.
he will be.
Yeah.
There's,
Yeah, true.
so my opinion of Hedis as a GM, and I know he's going to hate this story
Hedis
because
is
he's
center
he's,
only.
he's probably in the chat right now for the podcast, already rejecting the story. But it was fantasy hockey fucking 5-6 years ago, and he offered a trade to my wife that was like the most disgusting trade I've ever seen.
Jesus,
And I was just
that's
like,
inappropriate. What
I
do you
know.
offer?
Disgusting.
Ugh.
I go up to him and I send him a message like, "Don't you
Disgusting.
ever talk to me or my wife ever
Why
again."
would you offer a
Get
three-way
those
like
words.
that?
I mean, I wasn't a fan, but he
Yeah.
definitely was. And
The Devil's three-way is tricky.
I was just like, "Don't you ever do this again." He's like,
Never offer
"Bro."
that. Yeah.
"It was a fair trade." And so like that'll be the story. I'm expecting him to shoot stuff out once a week. I'm gonna change those words. He's gonna offer trades once a week, and the other GMs are gonna be like, "Why are you doing this to me?" He's like, "Bro, fucking Charles Proctor, fair trade. I don't know what the fucking problem is." And so it's gonna be all the time. Get used to it, boys. You're gonna have a fun season. All I know is if you do draft me, make sure to trade me.
I'll
That's my
accept
biggest
any
dream.
trade more than the number of players that they have. So if it's 2 for 1, accepted.
So
That's a
So
rule
if you
can't
went
do.
down to 9 and I went up to 11, done.
Can't do that.
So we agreed that
Yep.
Pesa was the most trade player.
Yes. I think he has 3 trades.
If you include spring, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 trades.
Make
And,
it 4.
and the most points after being traded, it unlocked like his superpower, and he just got like 9 points like postseason 4 games or something and just started racking up points.
The little known fifth chakra is a trade.
A trade. It really is. It really is. He got his fifth eye and he just started blasting people in the face with it. It was badass.
Blasting people in the face, shooting that mad rope. we just got demonetized.
This is only
Piercy looks done.
just so everyone knows, we're half a bottle of bourbon in. It's not 3 like we were last time. It's classy.
Stone cold sober.
Stone cold
baby.
sober.
I don't know.
Mackie, we're classy. It's nice.
He's still cruising from last night's buzz.
Yeah,
Don't
he
ignore
is.
him.
Yeah, he's hungover, really. But yeah.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't remember anything from game number 2. And did you even play game number 1?
No. I wasn't even sure who won until I looked at it this morning.
Nice.
And here's the thing, like usually when I have a lot of drinks, time goes really quickly, because you lose things.
Yeah.
Slow as hell.
Slow?
Like I was high. I don't know.
Yeah, MNL's very slow.
I don't
We're not that great.
I
of
looked up
hockey
and I'm like, first period, 11 minutes left?
players.
Huh?
Great.
I told my wife,
fast
I was like, hey, I'm going to watch the games. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna pick a beer on the way there. Like usually I'll drink and then I'll go play, but like I'm not gonna drink and spectate like beer league hockey, right?
Yeah.
So I went there, and then Piercy at one point I talked to my dad. And he was like, "Hey, Judge, you want a beer?" And I was like, "No,
Yeah,
I was like, no, I'm good." And then over here we got Charles getting hammered drunk while just watching every game.
Justin Wright today was like, I didn't even know you were wasted. I thought you were just had a couple drinks, nothing crazy. And I'm like, oh, he is clearly sleep deprived from his recent new addition to his family. So because I was like, man, I was wasted.
You should have seen Charles and Chad playing around the ice before game 1. I saw Charles beef really fucking hard.
I only beefed once, which is actually pretty impressive.
All it takes is one.
Wait. So did you play the 3-on-3?
No,
Oh
no, I was not.
That was not legally
Capable.
allowed.
How was that? Any rumors? Any sites? Was it fun?
Yeah. So
Good
3-on-3.
Were there
so
goalies?
far-
What was
yeah,
it?
there was
Yeah.
goalies. There was
Yeah,
goalies.
nice.
A great group of goalies, including Jeremy Cohn,
Yes.
a very distraught Andrew Hedis,
Yeah.
a very pumped up Cam Clauser,
Nice.
and then the beautiful addition of the night was
Troy's
Ethan
kid?
Krunkovich.
Ethan Crunk. Yes.
Yeah,
Crunk's kid. Yes.
Little Crunk Jr.
Yes.
had a great night.
Great night.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Nice.
Antioch
Give
beamed
anyone the
beamed him
windmill?
in the head.
Give him the glove.
He gave a glove. He got beamed in the head by Antioch very early in the
fucking
first
Antioch.
game. But I think it was a lot of fun. I want to say the Crunk's team, which was the yellow team, which had Crunk's kid as the goalie, they won one game. The Sherwoods, which is Woodsy's team, won a game. And then I want to say it was 2 games for Ben United. And whoever the fuck the other team's name was.
Charles over here.
The green team? The green team. Yeah, so green team also won 2, and it was a pretty good game.
Nice.
Set of games. It was a lot of fun. It was very tiring, especially after a handful of people. There was a couple people who came and just only skated that, and you could tell they had the energy.
It's a
Couple
nice
of us
little
did
wrinkle,
not.
though. It's a nice little wrinkle
It was-
for free ice.
It's
Did you
free
do
ice.
3
Like,
games.
it was 3
2?
games, and you go through the whole rotation, and we're gonna do that
Yes.
again every single week. So
That's
it's kind of
fun.
like a nice little.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
There
And it
was a
was
rumor
late
that Ben
before.
got jerseys for his team.
Yeah, Ben got
Ben
straight
got
up jerseys.
for his fucking.
They look like
Well, he
I
probably
think they're
stole
like
them from- he
Ottawa
probably stole
67
them from,
jerseys.
Come on.
He probably stole them from
Did he get matching helmets? and gloves
A place.
and-
Let's say it. A place. No one knows.
Jesus.
Yeah, but it was a
Good.
really nice
Love
setup.
it.
You know,
Love
it
it.
was a lot of fun. I think there was a little bit of controversy late in the night with some, similar hard aggressive play. Got Simonelli. Simonelli tied for nicest guy in the league right next to Bob Gibb. Snacks or not, I still believe in
They'll
that.
break you, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They'll break you.
Sonelli brings the
will.
worst
Give
snacks
it
if he ever
time.
brings any.
Give it
Oh,
time.
fuck yourself. I got flaming hot Cheetos and pretzel rods.
True.
I'll eat anything after fucking midnight. I'm a goddamn gremlin.
Love a flaming rod.
Let's just say I heard it used to be pizzas, and now it's just like charcuteries.
No, I've never. I mean, if Homeboy brought some fucking cute board, I'd be fucking ecstatic. But
We
no,
need to get some charcuterie up in this bitch.
talk to the
we're
wives. They're
fancy.
all getting
Yeah.
cheese plates now. That's the age they're at now.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
But-
Charcuterie's where it's at.
Yeah. But no, they
And beef curtains.
Yeah. Cooter and beef.
I love
Lords.
cooter and beef.
Yeah.
Jesus
cooter and
Christ.
beef.
Both of you need to turn off some mics. But No, it was a great competition, a lot of fun. I'm excited for next week. It's a lot of like people kind of dicking around. There's one point where like Cone was trying to take full ice shots at Hedis to score on
Nice.
him. Hedis doing it
should.
right back. They're kind of
You
fucking around. It was
should.
good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fun. I do want to know who the first MNL goalie is to score. It hasn't been done yet.
My opinion, 3-on-3 does not count. It's way too short of ice.
No, it's got to be a game. But who can do it? Who has the ability to actually fire that thing
I
down there?
try to give the puck to my goalie every time if we have an empty net.
Yeah.
If there's a chance and I know that they'll play the puck, I'll try to give it.
Try
to
to
him.
give it to him. I know.
I will.
I think
I think only half the guys can do it. I think Kayla Cone. I've never seen Riley. Riley, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I've never seen goalies really fire the puck.
Hedis plays the puck a lot.
Yeah.
Cone. Yep. You have Keela.
Z,
Pangrazzi.
I don't think
Pangrazzi
they're-
does, but I've never. No. Pangrazzi.
Can he fire it?
But the
I
thing
don't know
is,
if he can
it's the
fire
air.
it.
It's
Like,
the air. Can you get the air?
He's got to fire it. It's gonna be a good record. So all you goalies out there, waste every game to get that record. Who cares?
So that actually brings
Fire
up
it.
a really good conversation because last night before the Deeks game, Deeks and Seals had a long, prolonged warm up just because of the fact that the Little Caesars guys weren't there. So
it was late.
it was like a 30-minute warm up. It was like actual NHL. I'm surprised we
You
didn't
guys
do
were
the,
early. You were early.
Yeah,
Just saying.
you were late.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Pengrazi's
it was.
fucking or not Pengrazi. Antioch's fucking around trying to do a classic like pick up the puck off the
Oh,
ice
the
and juggle
scoop
it a bit.
Oh, I love the
And
scoop.
so I was just like, "Are you gonna try and get a Michigan goal?" And he goes like, "I don't know, maybe." And he was like, "I wasn't thinking about it, but then you said it." And so that reminds me of a conversation I forgot with who was like, "Who's gonna get the first to get the first Michigan goal?" Same
Yeah.
thing. Who's
Yeah.
gonna be the first person to get a goalie goal from downtown?
That's true.
Let's take bets. Who's gonna get the first goalie goal? Drinks
First goalie goal.
a whole
Who-
round.
Who I've seen fire it?
No, who's gonna do it? Not who's gonna fire it. One name. Pick.
God, as much as it hates me to say this, Hedis.
Hedis. It
Oh,
would
I-
be Hedis.
I mean, that was
He's
gonna be my
vain.
vote.
He's vain enough to keep trying it.
I think it's gonna be Cone.
Cone.
He's
I can see Cone.
it's a dream of his.
Yeah.
Cone,
Cone
Cone
does
doesn't
want
have
it.
the strength.
Cone's
I've
He's been
dealt with
working
it.
out lately.
I've dealt with
He's
enough
been
pucks
pumping
that
at
coach
least
try to
10-pound
handle.
weights.
You guys.
I
I
know
mean,
you gotta
Cam could be in there because
Cam could do it.
Cam plays the puck. Pangrazzi.
Fuck, they go.
Pangrazzi doesn't come out
Really
and play
could
as
be
much
all
as
in
he.
there.
But you know, a goalie that comes out and plays the puck, lays the puck, and leaves it for you. But he also will make the play at the boards when you don't see it. That's the goal you want.
Hot take. We got 7 goalies in the league this year. I'm gonna take the field. I'll take anyone else but our current
$1, Bob. You're betting the $1.
I mean, you got
Thanks,
7.
Price is Right.
I got question mark. Who knows?
Gotcha.
I guarantee you, somebody else who is not a goalie in this
I'll
league
pick-
currently will get
yeah.
it first.
Peso.
Peso.
Peso
is goalie.
Peso will put pads on just to get that goal.
Peso is goalie.
Use the player stick.
Gets
Yeah,
it.
I'm still holding out for Bender goalies. One time it's gonna be Charles or Chad or Turtle or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
You just gotta fire that bitch.
I barely have the ability to hit it when I have my own regular ass player
From
stick.
the dots.
Pretty sure you have a track record now of hitting it from 200 feet.
Yeah, but that's
200
200.
So-
That number's gonna get bigger every time we talk about it. This is a fish.
Yeah.
1,000 feet.
I think
But-
the maximum distance you can do is 200 feet.
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
So I using the goalie stick, which is the opposite hand for me, and then you have that big old glove and everything. No, there's no way. I can
Just
barely
gotta
do
put
it.
your back into it.
I just
You
want
can do it.
I just want to go on record during this over lengthened warm up that the Deeks and Seals had. It was Chad and Charles from the opposite end of the ice shooting pucks full red line to red line. So he says, "Oh, I don't have the strength to do it," but he was getting coaching. It was MVP being coached by the MVP runner up.
That's
so
true.
I'm just saying they're
That-
trying.
That's a lot of MVPs going
true.
on.
Let's be honest.
Wait,
though.
Sugar was there?
Who?
You heard me.
He said,
Who's this guy?
Most valuable player implies that they made the biggest difference
Well,
on their
hey,
team.
Yeah.
Piercy, it's funny that you say that because stats wise, if you look at it, Sugar's 10 points ahead of the next closest person.
Yeah.
There's
top
no
of
one
the
even
league,
close.
dude. No one's gonna catch
But
him.
no one said anything about him scoring or 6.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it,
No one's
so it
catching
was
that guy.
it was it
Sugar's
was a
on
little
fire.
more than that earlier. But yeah, but Chad or Charles over here might be MVP.
Yeah. I'll give it to
yeah.
Cam. Cam could do it. I think we'll give it to Cam. Cam could hit that net.
I still think it's gonna be
I
Cone.
agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Any other subjects that Tutus want to cover?
No, I think we're done. This is about it. This is a classy half a bottle of bourbon, few beers, 2-2 classic. No one's sneaking out, going home hammered, passing out on the lawn kind of night.
I miss you, Christian Pfister.
Yeah, I miss you too.
Call me
Christian
and let me know
Pfister.
that you're okay.
Yeah,
Hope
he
you're all right.
made it home. At least he made it in his house last time.
Yeah, he
Pfister
did.
Christian, I know
He
your
snuck
time is
home
coming.
that
Hey,
night.
wait. Do you want to explain that story
No,
on live here?
no.
I would never bring
Yeah.
up Taco Bell about somebody else like that. Okay.
Boys out. Couldn't
All right.
find him, but I think this is the end. Thank you so much, Piercy.
Sign
for
us out,
having
Piercy.
So in that case, I guess we are over.
Vote for Mackie.
Dale,